it's your host, Ashley Idkovic of the Chronic Convos podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe on Spotify as well as YouTube. And we also just got onto Apple Podcasts, so please make sure to like and subscribe. I am here with a very special guest, Shendel Friedman. We just met like a few weeks ago, maybe on Instagram, but it feels like we've known each other forever. So Shendel is a model, which is a really like made me like really interested in her story. She's an aspiring public relations professional. She's also a disabled advocate and disabled model too, which again, that's a very growing industry. And so I just couldn't wait to talk to her and have her on our podcast and just share her story about everything. So Shendel, I am so excited to have you here again. We also found out that we don't live too far from each other, so that's really cool too, and we're both blonde and having fun, and
Highlighted.
I can't
I'm
wait. This
not
is gonna
naturally. I'm
Oh,
not
that's
naturally
okay.
blonde.
Well, we didn't have to tell that part because
Yeah, no,
people
no, no,
can,
no, no.
yeah,
Yeah, nobody. Okay, yeah,
right.
yeah,
But this is gonna be kind of a different episode because I can tell we're gonna have a lot of fun. Not
yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't had fun with my other guests. I'm just saying, Chandel has a lot of energy, and I love
I
it, and I
do.
love her vibes. And so,
Yeah.
Chandel,
Even
I'm
though
just gonna let you.
I'm on the third cup of coffee already.
Oh, okay, I'm only on my first, but I'm due for a
Yeah,
second pretty soon.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I know.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I feel ya.
yeah.
So Shendel's story is a little bit different because she was actually born with cerebral palsy. So it's not like our other podcast episodes where I'm like, hey, when were you diagnosed? So this is a little bit of a different story. So I'm going to let Shendel just tell her story
Yeah,
and go from there. So
yeah,
Shendel, take it away.
yeah. So, thanks, Ashley, for that beautiful and gorgeous and lovely introduction. That was really, really sweet. Um, yeah, so I was born with cerebral palsy. I don't like to say but I was born with
That's
cerebral
okay.
palsy, and I would say about 8.5 weeks early. I was supposed to be born on June 8th, 2000, and instead of being born on June 8th, I was born on April 1st, which honestly, between you and me, is like a better a better birthday, like April Fool's Day, of course. Like, why not? Um,
June 8th's my sister's birthday. So
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
so.
I
Yeah,
know.
there you go.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually 8 days before my mom. So
Oh, okay. So you're
I
both
kind of came and
Aries.
was like, I am your gift. You're welcome. Um,
Exactly. And an
and
Aries, so I
and
love it.
yeah, and so I was born 8 weeks early, and I was born via C-section, and no complications, no nothing of the sort, like nothing crazy, just C-section. And I was 3 pounds 8 ounces. I was very small. I
Oh,
was
wow.
premature, so
Okay.
I was really tiny. And then I spent about 5.5 weeks after that in the NICU, because I was having trouble breathing because my lungs were considerably smaller than an average person because I still had 9 weeks of growth left.
Right, right, right.
Um, and then everything kind of went normally. Like, they brought me home after the 5 weeks. Like, I was absolutely fine. Um, I was not a breastfed kid. I had to do formula because of my prematurity. I wasn't able to, do that normal function. But everything was fine and everything was normal. And then after about a year and a half or so, I wasn't hitting the normal markers of physicality, like getting up and walking and balance and everything. And as I was growing, my legs, I mean, I guess my legs or my hips, even, I don't even know, would be turned inward. So my legs were turned inward, and I was sitting in a W position, which is a very common position to be sat in when you have CP. It's actually one
Oh,
of
really?
symptoms of it. It's like when your knees are kind of turned outward and you sit, and like that's not a normal leg movement for able.
Right, right, right. I just didn't know that was like a normal
Yeah,
marker
I
that
don't
they
really
can
know how
tell
to
right
explain.
away that's for
Yeah,
CP.
I don't know how to explain what W position is. You can go, like, it's a Googleable thing, but it's basically when your legs are like like under you, but like your knees are like in a W shape. Like it's not natural. So for
Right.
me, it was
Wow. Okay.
natural. And then I couldn't put my heels down on the floor. So I was
Oh,
walking on,
interesting.
I like
Okay.
when people would hold me up, like I would start walking on tippy toes, which is not normal. And that's
Right.
also for a huge amount of people, that's a CP indication. And then about at the age of 1.5, I can't say for sure if it was 1.5 because I don't remember, but I think mom and dad said that it was about 1.5. They took me to the pediatrician, and he forcibly turned my legs outwards. And that when you do that, you're not supposed to feel pain. But I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And that's kind of the moment when the pediatrician knew that, like, oh no, she has cerebral palsy. So he gave me my
My
diagnosis.
God.
He gave me
Do you
that
have any
diagnosis.
memory of that at all? I
No,
mean,
I
I know you were
don't.
only
Like
one and a half.
this
Okay, that's
is
good.
all from mom and dad's recollection. So I know they're
Okay.
gonna
Oh my gosh, because
add it
I'm like
to.
cringing here. Like I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
oh
no,
my
my mom
God.
told me that he kind of took my legs and twisted them outwards because when you're born, well, I guess I don't want to say the word normal, but when you're born able-bodied, like your legs aren't supposed to turn inward. Like you were
Right,
supposed to.
right, right. Of
Um,
course, right.
so that was the first indication, and then I'm what's called spastic diplegic, which means that like you've heard of quadriplegia before. So I'm like
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
version, which is just like my legs being affected, and I'm spastic, meaning that like my hamstrings are tight, and that's part of the CP. So there's some people with CP that have loose CP, and I like to say that I have the tight version, which means you're spastic. I forgot the name of the other one, but yeah.
That's okay. So do you
Other
feel
other
like
than that, other and then the other thing was obviously I wasn't speaking and I wasn't doing anything of that sort yet. So we weren't really sure like how bad it was going to be, and we just kind of, went with the flow, I guess, to say, because we weren't at that point where we knew like if my hands were going to be affected, where my speech was going to be affected, because I
right,
and then as I started growing up, like my parents realized like, oh, she's a special case. And the doctors kind of realized that as well, because 1 in 5 children get diagnosed with cerebral palsy, but I don't want to say I'm the only one, but I'm probably one of the rarer ones where, your speech and your hands and the way that your brain works isn't as affected by it as the other parts of your body. So I'm able to function
right,
normally, and I'm
right,
able to, do most things normally that a lot of kids kids and adults with CP cannot do, and they need.
right. Yeah, I
uh,
was gonna ask with your hamstrings, can you, because because they're always so tight, like are you always in
they're
pain
not
or
not anymore. They're not tight anymore because
oh, okay.
they got surgically, I wouldn't say fixed, but surgically helped. And
Oh, okay.
we'll get into that later because we still
Okay.
have.
Okay,
um
sorry. Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but
I'm
but
jumping
but
ahead
yeah,
here.
so we kind of didn't know like how bad it was gonna be, and then as I got older, kind of like towards like 3, 4, like it was like we started realizing that it was completely okay. I will say I started speaking really late, and I had some delays, but it wasn't like a delay to be worried about, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So then, right after I wouldn't say right after my diagnosis, but my mom, because she's Eastern European and she's very hardworking and she's very ambitious, that shout out to my mom.
Thanks,
She
Mom.
Thanks, mom. Um, she she started taking me to all these different therapies, to see if it could, well, not quote be fixed, but help.
Right.
Um, and I went to so many, I can't even like recall all of them. If you ask her, she knows more than I do. But after a while, she found my therapist in Budapest, that works in conductive education, which is a type of therapy that they use for a lot of physically disabled children.
Right, right.
And
Mm-hmm.
she started working with me when I was 2. And because my mom is Hungarian and because she grew up in Hungary, that was really kind of like my first therapeutic thing. So I would go to her, and then my first language was Hungarian, actually. It wasn't
Oh,
English.
wow. Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
My first time going, we spent 9 months there. So we went from May of 2002 until about, or no, sorry, September of, I don't even know. I'm not even going to say dates because I don't remember.
That's okay. That's okay.
Went,
But you
yeah,
spent 9 months there.
we went to from 2002 until 2003, and that was my first language. So when I got home, I couldn't speak to my father because he doesn't speak Hungarian. So I not only like met a lot of my family members, but you know, the languages I speak now and the food that I eat now, and the Hungarian culture is very like embedded in me because it was like given to me really, really early on.
Right,
So
right,
I
right.
still go see her. I still go see her to this day. I've known her for about 22 years now.
Wow.
It's like a member of my family. And even though I don't need as much therapy as I needed then, I still go see her once a week during the summer or twice a week during the summer. You know, I hang out with my family. So, I mean, it's a win-win situation. When I was little, I was like, we have to go to Budapest. But now I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. Are we going? Like,
Right,
let's go
right,
down.
right, right, right. And for
So,
our listeners and followers, so Shendel was telling me that she goes to Europe during the summer. So just like
that's
because
why.
they're
That's
probably
why.
wondering like, wait, how do you see her once a week? Like, so just wanted to like
Yeah,
clear that
that's
part up.
why I go see her and then we kind of make a trip out of
Right.
it and do our
Wow, that's
visit.
amazing. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And speaking another language is really cool because
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
and we live there and we have family there and we spend a lot of time there and it's not only therapeutic but that you definitely perspectives open when you go to other countries and it's
Oh, I
great.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, I've
yeah,
only been to a few other countries,
yeah,
but I'd
yeah,
love to travel
yeah.
to just see what
So
other
so
cultures
I'm
are
really
like.
grateful that, you know, that experience happened to me and that I was able to get, you know, that help that I needed then, which obviously transcends into now. And, you
Right.
know, yeah. So I'm really grateful. So thanks, Mom, and thank you to like the whole Budapest side of things. And then, you know, everything was kind of normal. I started school normally and you know, I did mostly everything that most kids do. And then we had an interesting story with the way that I started my education. So there is a school in LA and it's called Locrant School and it's a completely normal elementary school, but they have what's
I
called
don't know if I've heard of that one,
their
but that's okay.
it's called the Reseda MTU and it's a therapy unit and they send a lot of disabled kids there. And
Okay.
I went to that school for preschool and I wouldn't say kindergarten, but preschool. And they were doing a lot of therapeutic stuff for me what in my classes and learning normal. And there was a lot of other disabled kids there, like people with different disabilities from physical to learning to Down syndrome to anything. So it was a very like we were all together, kind of assimilated. And then I would say, and again, this is not a direct account. This is from based on what I've heard from parents and my parents specifically, is that I'm trying to think of the word for it.
That's okay. Take your time.
So I was progressing relatively faster than my peers were because my disability doesn't really affect me as much as, you know, the next
Like
person.
cognitively and
as
stuff.
as
Right, right,
I
right.
as I mentioned before, like I'm a really, you know, interesting case where I'm pretty much 80% functional. Like if you didn't see me walk outside or something, you wouldn't even tell from sitting that I have anything really.
Exactly, because cognitively, yeah, you're
Cognitively, I'm still on, you know, I'm cognitively more on the able-bodied.
exactly. Right, right, right. Yeah.
I like to say that I don't really fit in anywhere because I'm too able-bodied to be considered disabled, but I'm disabled to be considered able-bodied. So that's what I
Again,
say.
you're unique and that's okay.
I'm
We'll
unique
take it.
in that
Yeah.
way. So I was progressing cognitively quicker than most of the kids that I was with. At this school, we also had able-bodied kids, and we were kind of assimilated with everybody, but cognitively based from the perspective of other disabled kids that I was with, I was on a progressive level, and I was reading at a third grade level in first grade also.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but that's what I was told. And then my parents decided to put me in a elementary school. They took me out of Low Krantz and they put me into Woodlake in Woodland Hills.
Okay, I
And that
have
was,
heard of them. I'm
yeah,
familiar with
good
them. Yeah.
school. It's now a charter school. I loved
Right, right,
going.
right. Uh-huh.
Met some of my best friends at the school, and
Oh,
they're probably gonna listen to this, so hi guys. Um,
hey,
and
BFFs. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't want to speak wrong, but I think I was the only disabled kid at that time because this was like early 2000s, like 2004, 5. Um, and yeah, I was the only disabled kid in my class, I think. And I was going to school with all able-bodied children. So that was an experience where it was like I was different and they didn't understand me and I didn't understand them. So the adults and the teachers and everyone understood it, but we were little, so no one kind of got it. And that time was really special because that was when my parents advocated for me because they wanted me to be with they wanted me to be with the able-bodied kids because one of the things
Right,
parents always said was like you're so special in the sense that you're able-bodied in some ways and you're disabled in other ways, but it's to a point where you can be as normal as the other kids, so why don't you go to a school with all the other kids, you know what I mean?
right. Yeah,
So
exactly.
I didn't get it, but from what we've talked about and from how my life kind of played out, like I'm so thankful that they did that because I have friends that are able-bodied. I have friends that have those normal like life experiences,
Right, right.
and I was able to have those life experiences with them because they put me in that able-bodied circle. So it was hard. I definitely struggled a lot because I couldn't run on the playground and I couldn't go to some birthday parties and I couldn't do
Oh,
certain things, but everybody made it work. And I spent 4 years at Woodlake from K through fourth. And then it was amazing. I met some of my best friends at the school.
so
um we've
with
gone
that, Shendel, and
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, no, you're
did
good.
did anybody like were you bullied or made fun of, or it was
Well,
just more because
I
kids
wouldn't
just
say
didn't
I was
understand?
bullied, but I definitely had, a few mean girls who didn't understand like what I was going through and were very mean to me because they just I don't want to say because they were insecure or anything because I don't know, but they were mean. Yeah, I definitely had a few girls who wouldn't invite me or say that they don't want to hang out with me or didn't include me.
Oh,
And
I'm
to this day I
sorry.
struggle with that. But I mean, um, like at this point as an adult, I'm just like, listen, if you don't want me at your party, like you don't want me at your party, like what am I supposed to do? So
Right, right, right.
like when you're
And
a
I
kid.
can actually tell you're like the life of the party, so they're the ones
Thank
missing
you.
out.
I'm not a clubby person. You will not catch
Right.
me at a nightclub. You will not
Right,
catch me
but
at
I'm
a bar.
just
Like
saying, like, I
I'm
mean,
not,
yeah,
no, like my idea of a party is like, let's go to dinner and let's like eat all the good food and let me go home and sleep. Yeah, that's like
right, or like come
that's my
over, we'll
vibe.
have a
Or
charcuterie
like
board and play board games, like
yeah, or
something
like
like that. Yeah,
let's
exactly.
go
Yeah,
on a girls trip to like Europe and like go into a
right. Oh,
castle
that would be
or like
amazing. Can we go if I had
yeah,
money?
like can we go do that? Or like I'm very into TV shows, so like let me show you this TV show that
Yeah,
I'm
like
currently
let's have a TV
obsessing over.
marathon. Yeah,
Like let's
exactly.
have a TV
Yeah,
marathon and like talk about books and TV shows all day. So
right.
that's
And
kind of like my vibe. So I'm
right.
extroverted.
So again, they're missing out. And I want to
They
point
are.
out, and I know that you're going to continue talking about
Yeah.
like your education and everything, but I want to point out to our listeners and viewers, whether they're disabled or able-bodied or not,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what is thrown at you. You really could do
Yeah.
anything. And like you're living proof of that. Like you were reading at a two
No,
you
third
were
grade
reading
level.
like at a
Third
higher
grade
level,
level.
yeah, than what you were at, and yet
Yeah,
you have cerebral palsy, and yes, you're unique where it normally does affect the cognition, and yet
yeah,
you like it just shows like you can do
yeah,
anything, and
yeah,
and unfortunately we're all misunderstood. And
yeah,
we're human beings too with feelings and everything. And even things like this that happen in childhood really do stick with us in
yeah,
adulthood. But once we grow up and
yeah,
realize, you know what, like you said, maybe they were insecure, like, but
yeah,
how do we know what a first grader
yeah,
was going through at the
yeah,
time,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Like, how do you explain to a 6-year-old that like you're walking with a walk,
Right, right, right,
right?
exactly.
You
And we
know,
know this now. We didn't know that
right?
then, but
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but I just want to say like there were a few girls and a few families because everybody in that school in Wood like lived relatively close to each other. We all lived like
And it's a
right
pretty
on the same. It's
highfalutin
like
area too, if I
yeah,
remember. It's a pretty wealthy school, if I remember correctly.
I mean, I don't know about it now, but like back then it was a pretty good school and like it has a bunch of awards and really great teachers and
Right,
all.
right, right. But
So the
I
girls,
meant the clientele that go
yeah,
there,
the
like
clientele, I
they
don't
come
know,
from money and stuff like that.
yeah.
Not that there's
So
anything wrong with that. It's just that probably
right.
played a
So
part in that. Yeah.
yeah, so the family, like I met my very first best friend there. Um,
Oh,
and then I had a few girls that I was really close with, and boys as well. Like we had a whole friend group that really
hey,
included me. Like
love
the
it.
parents invited me to things, and the moms were really close, and the dads were really close.
That's
And
awesome.
the parents would talk to each other. Like to this day, like I talked about this with my mom the like on Friday because we drove past it. Like, oh, do you remember this parent? And do you remember this parent? And
Right, right,
like,
right.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
love this parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this one's mom, and what, and I still keep in touch with the parents now. Like
Right.
of them, find me on Instagram, or if I end up doing something, like they pop in every so often. So it really, that I think that first grade class, I didn't mention this, but it was Miss Chris Corn's first grade class that really like that was the class. It still to this day is the class. But yeah, from like K through fourth, it was amazing. And then we moved to Calabasas when I the summer before fifth grade. So I transferred from the LA Unified School District to the Las Virgenes
Right, right, right. Uh-huh.
which is really weird because to be honest, it's like only like what a 20-minute drive difference.
Right.
Like
I
not
know.
that big of a
I don't
but
get
like
the lines
I
either,
was
but
like,
yeah.
okay. So yeah, and my parents wanted me to go to better schools because LVUSD is known for their public education
Right.
system.
Yeah, they're a
And
very good school
my
district.
my sister, my older sister, who I have a 20-year age difference with, she went to Calabasas High School. So my dad really wanted me to go there.
Right.
Um, because of the family affiliation and like how much she loved it and all of that stuff. So um I moved, and that was a really hard thing for me. Like I
I
remember
bet.
that last year in fourth grade um was really hard and really bittersweet because in first grade we had two teachers. We had Mrs. Priscorn and we had Mrs. Axelrod. And Mrs. Priscorn and Mrs. Axelrod worked together. So one teacher would teach us in the morning, and one teacher would teach us in the afternoon, and it was like a combined class. And in fourth grade, Miss Axelrod, who happened to be Miss Axelrod, who was one of my favorites and who like really loved me. Like they like both my all my teachers loved me, but I had a really amazing time in her class. She moved up to fourth grade. So
Oh,
I prayed to the angels or God or whatever you want to say, and I was like,
right, right,
listen,
right.
Miss Axelrod has to be my teacher. Like she's amazing. And I got her my last year at Woodlake.
Yay,
Yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
that was my last year. And she really, really made it special. Like we had a little party, I remember at the end, and everyone signed my
Oh,
yearbook. And I still have that yearbook with everyone's signature in it. And all of the aides and everyone that helped me there, including my aide. signed it and everything. So that
That's
was my
awesome.
last
Yeah, I
year.
still remember some of my
Yeah,
teachers and
yeah.
aides
So
like
that
in
was,
elementary school that like
yeah,
really had a
yeah. So
yeah.
shout out to Miss Axelrod's class of 2009, 2010. Like yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, holla.
Those
Yeah.
people. And then I moved to Chaparral, which
Oh
is
yeah,
in
I know Chaparral.
Calabasas,
Yep.
which is up the street from the high school. So
Uh-huh.
we moved to the new house, we did everything, and that was really hard because as a kid, like change is hard.
Sure, of
So
course.
yeah, we moved a few times like within the area of Woodland Hills, like, but I always went to Woodlake. Like we moved like what, 2 streets down, 3 streets down. So
Right, but yeah,
I
it was
went to the same school, I did the same thing, but this was like the first time where I wasn't gonna see the same kids every day, and I wasn't gonna
right. Oh,
like, it was very hard for me.
I bet.
Because I
Yeah.
was like, do I have to go through the whole disabled thing again? And like obviously I was older, but yeah, I had to go through that. So that first day was really hard, but then I met my friends now because that entire class of 2018 and from that school, like we're all really good friends now. So I'm still grateful that I met that because now I'm friends with 2 classes and we all know each other now. So
Right.
everybody went to different high
And
schools and
so
different,
they were super
but
accepting of you then. Right.
the ones that I went to elementary school with ended up going to middle school with the other kids that I went to elementary school with. So both schools kind of combined after a
Oh,
while.
gotcha. Okay,
Um,
okay.
Especially in high school because everyone either goes to one or the other, but
Right.
still.
Exactly.
So I mean, we all know each other now, so it
Right.
worked out. I'm like,
Right.
sometimes I'm
Right.
like, oh my God, you know this person? I'm like, whoa, like, like, wait, what? Um, so I did high school. I mean, I did elementary and then graduated, did my thing, and then I went to AC Stowe for middle school, which is also in Calabasas.
Haven't heard of that one
And
yet. Uh-huh.
it's like a newer school. It was built
Oh,
in
okay, gotcha.
free. So it's like a newer, yeah, well, I mean, it's still a little new. I mean, it's 20 years old, but
Oh,
this was like in 2012. So it was like only like 9, 10 years old at that
right,
time.
right, right.
So, so I went and I had a lot of friends, and I actually had a friend who had a disability as well. She had
Oh, okay.
uh, CP, but like a heavier version of, I mean, heavier, what word would be a more, yeah, a heavier version of CP. And she was like my first friend who had a disability, and we were really close for a really long time because she understood me on a level that most
Of
kids wouldn't.
course, yeah, because you
But
both have it, no matter
yeah,
what, how
but
mild or severe it
yeah,
is, right?
yeah, but unfortunately, like we had our issues, and our friendship disbanded
Oh, I'm
because
sorry to hear
it,
that.
like I would share it, but I'm not comfortable sharing because
That's okay. No,
I
no,
don't
no,
I'm
no
not sure if she
pressure.
would want me to share, her own issues and everything that she's
Of
gone
course,
through.
yeah,
So
and you know, and things and what we've learned in this life, the ones of us who have been, dealt this hand, whether it's a visible or invisible disability, is we tend to go through a lot of different types of friend groups. People leave us
yeah,
because they
yeah,
don't understand, even if we might have the same,
yeah,
same disability.
yeah,
Unfortunately, we're kind of always changing support groups. There's very
right,
few people that are consistent, unfortunately. So
yeah,
for whatever reason it
yeah,
may be, and so again, no
yeah,
pressure that you have to
no,
share
yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Um, And I think that friend group that her and I were in was like my first real friend group because we were all kind of bonded over the fact that we were all in math class together.
Oh,
And
I hate
um,
math class, but
no,
cool.
same. This was the special ed math class.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was
So
more fun or
so
something, but I
this
hate math no
it
matter
was
what.
like what, like 7 of us, and we were all really close because we saw each other every day.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool. See,
so
maybe if I were in
yeah,
a
yeah.
very
For
like
some
few
reason, even though there
classmates.
were like 4 teachers in the department, in
Oh,
the
okay,
special
gotcha.
for some reason, like 99% of the time, minus like 1 or 2 people, it would all be the same group.
Right.
So
Oh,
we're
gotcha.
all
Okay. That's awesome.
we're all very, very close, still are to this day. Like, oh my
That's
God.
great.
Um, So yeah, for me, my educational journey was weird in the sense that I am strong in some subjects and I'm weak in others, like most kids
Like
are.
anybody,
Yeah,
I'm
but
horrible
this,
at math,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's why
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate it.
Um,
So,
so for example, I was with all of my other classmates for English and social studies and science, and then for math, I was with this the special ed group was together, and it was really great because I really got to, I had my close relationship with all my friends who were in special ed and who were struggling,
right,
with their things.
right,
And then what it was really great because I was with my other friends as well that kind of had like that more like, inclusive, able-bodied, um like I don't know how to call it, but like the differences between in a being in a regular math class with 40 kids versus being
in a
in a
smaller class, right, right,
right, because special ed they more concentrated so that you can get that help that you
right,
need.
exactly.
And for like I guess quote normal classes would be like 40 kids where it's like you're still very independent.
Right,
So I of course had an IEP as most disabled kids do or most
right,
people with
uh-huh.
learning. So the teachers were great and they always gave me my bathroom breaks, whatever extra stuff. Like
Whatever your
it was
accommodations
great.
were, correct,
But
yeah.
I really struggled because, I was a bit of a lazy kid. Like I didn't do I wasn't the best student like elementary school and like the beginning of middle school. Like I was like it was bad. So, that it wasn't great. And then I graduated and everything and whatever we dealt with it, and then it was time to go to high school. And was it my no, it was yeah, my sophomore year. We're gonna get to freshman year was amazing. I loved it. And it was that was a really life-changing time for me because obviously as you grow, the schools get bigger like
Right,
physically. They territorially they get bigger. So my
right,
dad was like, maybe you don't want to walk with the walker anymore. Maybe it's easier if you do electric wheelchair. So we tried that. Didn't like it because
right.
I forgot to mention that I walk with for school I was walking with a back walker with the seat attached.
Okay,
So
okay.
that was what I was using to for school, and then at home I used canes. Still do. And then because I was walking with and I like the back walker because baby me was like I look the most normal with a back walker in the sense that like when even though you're holding on to the handlebars and you kind of look like
Right,
this,
you're still
it's
walking,
from
right.
the back and you look like, you're
Yeah.
straight and you're
And you
walking.
read my mind because I was gonna ask you what mobility aids that
Yeah,
you
I
were
forgot to
using.
mention my
Yeah, yeah.
mobility aids there.
Uh-huh.
So I had like the generic silver and red one. It was
Yeah,
silver,
right.
red
They
handle.
only come
Like
in so many
I
colors.
see it sometimes at like hospitals and doctors' offices. I'm like, oh my, and it was like a baby one. I had like a baby one for preschool, so cute. Still have it.
Right, right.
Um, and
And
then
see, if it were me, I would have it bedazzled and like I
yeah,
would
yeah,
totally
yeah.
like we should
So
totally start a
yeah,
business where we like
so
can
then
bedazzle it.
so
Yep.
then So then I went from the white one with the red handles or the silver one. I call it the white one, but it's the silver one with the red handles to metallic blue with black handles. I was the coolest, literally my favorite. Like I was like at my all my friends were like, Shendel is so cool because her walker is blue. I was like,
Right.
yeah, so I had that for a while and then my dad was like, well, because Calabasas High School, um the 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 territory is so big and like there's ramps and stairs and everything.
Yeah, I
Um,
heard it's a huge high
it's a
school, so
huge
yeah.
campus, it's a huge high school. Um, let's do electric wheelchair. And I was like, no, because I'm very resistant to change. Uh, and at the moment.
Well, and
So
it's hard
it's
too
like
when you go from walking and now you're sitting in a
sitting and
wheelchair.
and also I forgot to mention this earlier when I was talking about my parents is like my parents have always been like pro you need to walk like
Right.
you like you are not in a wheelchair, you are not paralyzed, you need to walk. You will walk with your canes, you will walk with one cane, you will, and that's why I do the therapy in Budapest too, because that teaches you how to do like be
Right.
able.
So
And
to go from that to go to
so
a
one of
wheelchair is
so my
crazy.
mom's big thing always was my mom's big thing always was to make sure that even though I'm disabled, I should still be able to independently do a lot of things.
Right.
So because of her, I'm very independent now. I do everything relatively by myself, 90% functional, other than, the cooking and like all of the stuff that
Right.
like
Certain things that you,
but,
yeah,
like
of
I
course.
get dressed on my own. I shower on my own. Like it's been
Right.
like forever. I do my own makeup. I do my own hair. Like I am very like, I am in charge of myself. I think the only thing that I struggle with is like cooking, like food. So that's
Because
why,
you have to stand or
yeah. And obviously at this point in my life, like we're not at the driving part yet. So I don't have to worry about it.
gotcha.
So my mom and my dad were always like, you are disabled, but you also are not wheelchair bound, and you are able to stand up, and you are able to stand holding on to things, and
Right,
you're
right.
able to wall walk, and you're able to do a lot. So how about we like nurture that? So because you're not going to be a baby forever, and you're not going to live with us forever. So we need you to know how to do things, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so my mom was like, "You're gonna walk with canes. You're gonna walk with one cane. Like we can even practice walking by yourself. Like you're gonna be ambulatory. Like that wasn't a question. That was like you're gonna be ambulatory, point blank. Period." So I was like, "Okay."
Right.
And then also like I am the type of person like I don't want to be chained to a wheelchair either. So or like not chained. I don't want to offend anyone, but like
No,
um
I understand what you're saying. You
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
have to
be in a
depend on
wheelchair.
it.
I don't want to be in a wheelchair unless I absolutely have to. So like
Right,
have
you
to.
don't want to depend on it. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Half the situations would be like airports, Disneyland,
Yes. Yes.
traveling. Like
Yes.
we rent wheelchairs from hotels and stuff sometimes just to make it easier for me to like see things, right? And yeah.
Right, and
So
I just learned this term that that would make us ambulatory wheelchair
that's
users.
what
I
an
didn't even know
ambulatory
what
person.
that was until
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called having an ambulatory disability. And
Right, and I didn't even know what that was until
yeah.
recently. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, you're faking it." And it's like, "No, this
Yeah,
is
no, it's called being ambulatory. And a
because
lot of
we're trying to save our energy and it's the only way we can be functional." So,
yeah,
yeah.
a lot of people don't understand that in the sense that like you can have be disabled and still walk, you know?
Right. They just they
Can
cuz
be
yeah.
disabled and still walk. So like my form of walking is canes. Like my canes are
Right.
different colors and stuff. And then, if I need a wheelchair, we use it. But like I'm at the point, and even when I was younger, I'm at the point like if I need a wheelchair, I need a wheelchair. Like we're going to Disneyland. Like do you want me to get tired? Like,
Right.
you
Do
know,
you not want me to enjoy it?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And
like
I'm
I'd
the same
rather like
exact way.
how
Yeah.
big Disneyland is, right?
Right.
So stuff like that, like airports, like I don't have time to like go, walk with my canes. Like I will walk the short distances, but like the long ones, like if we're running from plane to plane, it's like,
Right. Or I'm gonna
um,
like fall asleep like in
yeah,
10
yeah,
minutes
or like
kind
go
of
to
thing because
baggage
I
claim.
lost my energy. Yeah.
What if baggage claim is downstairs? Like stuff like that. So
Exactly. Hmm.
so my parents really hit home like how ambulatory I am, and I'm so thankful that they did that because I am so ambulatory. Like I go everywhere with my canes. I'm at the point where I stopped walking with my walker after I graduated college. So thank you, mom and dad. But I just wanted to put that in there. Like I am ambulatory, and
Yes. And
it was always
you're relatively independent. I mean,
right. Other
and
than like the major stuff like cooking and cleaning
that's
and
okay and there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with
and that's
that.
okay. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Like that's why I still live at home until, and that's why, my parents are like they're worried about what that's gonna look like. But when we get there, we get there.
Right, right, right. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah,
I
thanks,
really want to
mom and
move
dad.
out
No.
now. I really want to move out in like the next 2 years. Like I already know what I want
Okay. So
apartment
you
to
have
look
a
like, and
plan that you're working on.
so
Right.
I'm already visually planning it.
Right.
Um, so I know that's a goal. But for anyway, so we wanted to put like my dad suggested the wheelchair or I don't even remember who. I think it was my dad and the doctor too. And so they gave me one and no, I'm not gonna get
Didn't
into it.
work for you.
I'm not gonna, it was not for me. I was like, oh my God, it's not bad, but it's just out. It wasn't for me. So
Okay.
we did that, and I went back to the Walker, and I flourished for 4 years with the Walker, and I was absolutely fine. High school was really interesting because that's where I started getting like into different things. So, and then I did choir for
Woohoo, me too.
shout out to Mr. Barrel. Um, then I did musical theater. I forgot to mention this, but I did musical theater outside of school from sixth grade to ninth grade, I
See,
think.
this is why
Oh,
we're
I did
kindred spirits here. Yep,
sixth grade to eighth grade. I did
same.
Little Shop of Horrors at the
Oh,
Class Act Community Theater in Woodland Hills. And then I did Hairspray, and I was in theater class in ninth grade.
woohoo.
Our our musical that year was Funny Girl, which was my favorite. I just went to go see it recently, like a few weeks ago.
Oh, lucky
So
I haven't seen it
Funny
yet on
Girl
Broadway. I
is
want
my
to see it
favorite.
so
I love
badly.
the guy who plays Nicky Armstein. Like I was sitting in the front row, and he and I like locked eyes twice, and then he like followed me on Instagram afterwards. He was
Hey, there you go. That's the way to do it.
I mean, I don't know, but like I just posted like the playbill like as usual, and he was nice, and he like went through my whole Instagram, like all my photos. So
Dang. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. That's
very
awesome.
sweet, very sweet, and he's a very talented individual. So I forgot his name, but like Nicky Armstein for life. And
And if he's single,
I
there's
just,
your boyfriend.
I
I'm
just
just kidding.
no, I watched Funny Girl when I was 6 years old, and I was like, Nicky Armstrong is my favorite, and I just realized like that he was not the best character. Like he did some things. So I was like, what? Like I went to go see the show the other day, and I was like, what? He like gambles and does illegal
Right,
stuff.
right, right,
Like,
right,
oh
right.
my God. I was like, no, Nikki Arnstein is not my favorite anymore. Like now I get why she was like upset. So that was like an eye-opening experience at the age of 24. You realize that Nikki Armstein is not like amazing.
Right, right, right.
Anyway, so
They all
I
have their vices.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because you don't realize that when you're little.
Right.
Um,
Just like I've listened to
yeah,
some Backstreet Boys songs recently, and I'm like, those were the words? Like, I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah,
surprised my
same.
parents like
Yeah.
allowed me to
So
listen to them.
so I
Like
was
stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, so I was in singing, and I was in musical theater, and I did
That's
all that.
awesome.
And
Same
that
here. That's why we're kindred
the
spirits
the
here.
the
Yep.
the owners of the community theater at the time told me that I have a really really good singing voice. And
Oh.
I had a lot of my friends were saying that too, so I was like I was like so hell bent on like I'm American Idol, and I'm gonna be like I was like American Idol. So then we did that, and then so I did that, and then my
Wait, you
sophomore
you auditioned for American
no, I
Idol?
didn't audition for American Idol. I was
Oh, okay. You're like, so I did that. I'm like, wait, what? Wait,
no, I didn't.
gotta
I
rewind.
wish I wasn't old enough, and I don't
Okay,
think
okay,
I
gotcha,
auditioned. But
gotcha.
I was
Okay.
like in a delusional space of like I'm good enough to be an American
I
Idol.
can
And
tell you're
remember,
a
I even
big
I
dreamer.
I even
You're a big dreamer.
remember I am a big dreamer.
And I love it because I'm the same way. And then I
I
hate
told
when
my mom,
people
I was
tell me
like,
I can't.
Mom, I'm gonna go for American Idol, and she, in her Eastern European kind of like Hungarian, like Russian way, she was like,
No.
realism is great. Realism is good. Like you come down to earth, honey. American, like you know. So I was
That's
like, I
funny.
literally, I met my mom. I was like, Mom, you don't want me to sing, and I like got pissed at her. But now it was like, now I'm like, thank you. I'm
Right.
like,
I understand
realistic.
what you
I
meant.
should have
Not
been,
at the
I should
time,
have
but
been,
yeah,
I
exactly.
should
Yeah.
have been, more realistic in my goals that way.
Right,
Uh,
right, right.
Also, I forgot to ask you this, but okay, well,
Oh, we gotta come closer. I can't hear you, my dear.
wait, let me text you because
Okay, all right.
uh, um, oh,
Okay, hold on. All right,
okay,
let's see.
or stop recording, and then we can start a new one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Go to the
We will be
bathroom.
right back, folks.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
so we were talking about like friend groups and stuff like that,
yeah.
and then we were talking
So
about electric wheelchairs and how your parents have
yeah,
made you
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
really independent.
They still do to this day. I'm so grateful that
Thanks,
that
mom and dad. Yeah, and I
thing.
think that's really important because I think And I'm not a parent yet. I mean, I'm a dog mom, and I'm an
Yeah.
older sister. But
Yeah.
I know there's parents out there that like, oh, well, my kid is disabled, and like that's the mentality that
Yeah,
they
my
grow
my
up with.
parents are not like that. They're like, my kid is
Right. And
disabled, but
so
also she can accomplish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
exactly. And then there's a lot of parents out there like that. Like my parents, I mean, I got diagnosed with all my autoimmune issues, chronic illnesses later in life,
Yeah,
but they've always told me you can do whatever you can. And like I've
yeah,
always looked up to somebody like Albert Einstein with dyslexia, like so
yeah.
like it's
Like,
just like
yeah,
and because
and they're like, as
my mom is special education. She
right.
did that at all grade levels, but especially the community college level. So, I know all about IEPs and
Yeah,
accommodations and stuff.
all of
So
that
I,
stuff.
so I probably learned all of that from her too. But I really believe you can do anything. And again, I'm just so inspired by you, Shendel, because,
Thank you.
you're really
That's
living
very
proof that
sweet.
you really can do everything. And
Yeah,
it's just interesting how you try different
yeah.
mobility aids and you're like, and even though your doctor like recommended it, you're like, this
Yeah, like
isn't for
I'm like,
me.
no, I'm good.
Right,
Um,
so this isn't for me. So
yeah.
okay, so the electric
So
wheelchair didn't
so
work.
I
So
I
then
was
what?
like, no. And also like I feel like this is like a time to bring up, like, I was really insecure about myself
Sure.
uh in school. Like, I never felt pretty. I never felt
Oh,
like I mean, not accepted, because my friends accepted me, but like, for example, like, I was never asked to the dances, and I never kind of had a relationship. I
same.
still don't. I haven't had like my first major relationship
That was
still
me
to
in high
this
school.
day.
Yep.
And I struggled a lot, because it's like you see all these blonde beautiful girls in the short shorts and the popular kids, and you're like, I want to be like them. And like, this is gonna sound so shallow, but like, I thought 100 likes on Instagram in high school was like peak. I was like, I people don't like me enough to give me 140 likes on Instagram. Like, I literally like, it was so stupid. But that, you
No,
have,
but that goes through our minds, and
yeah,
especially in high school, because
right.
we're
And middle
taught,
school
like,
as
oh, well,
well.
if you're not dating somebody, then you're not pretty enough.
Right.
That's kind of
Right.
the
And
weird
and
mentality. So it makes
and
sense. I
like,
didn't get asked out a lot either.
mhm. And then I had like a few friends and a few classmates. I wouldn't even call them friends. Like, that would still make fun of me, and like, not like, I don't know who they are to this day, neither do I care. But like, I heard through grapevines and different things like that, like, of like people that like didn't like me or didn't like, nah. Everybody gets that. It's fine. I'm not like the only one, but like, it just hit me a little bit harder because I thought it was disabled.
Right,
Um,
yeah,
because
exactly. You
my
thought it
disability
was
was
because
about
of your disability, and
um,
that's a horrible feeling. Like
yeah,
even
yeah,
if you
yeah.
are able-bodied, because I also got bullied, being
Right.
able-bodied,
Yeah.
but then when you're disabled, it's like what? And now looking back at it as
Yeah.
adults, you
Now
and I
I'm
were
like, thank
talking.
you.
Right, you and I were talking offline that, well, now we know it was like an insecurity or something,
Yeah.
because maybe
So,
you were
you know,
getting attention because you had the cool blue, walker and everything
yeah.
like
No,
that.
but it was
So,
good attention, but also like, and then also like, I was never a party girl. Like, to this day, I cannot
right.
handle alcohol well. Like, I can maybe drink one, and then I need
Same girl.
like
Oh my God.
I
See,
need
we're
to go take a
kindred
nap.
spirits. I'm your
I need to go
DD.
take a
Yeah.
nap, and I need 3 to 5 business days to
Right.
recover. Um, even now, like, culturally, like, there's a lot in Eastern European culture, drinking is just part of it.
Right. That's part of, I'm Eastern European
It
too, as
is
we were
like,
talking offline, and
and like,
that's our
like
culture that we're
the
always,
vodkas and the parties and all
right.
that.
We're
And
always drinking.
I'm just like,
Exactly.
you know
But
what?
I can't. Nope.
I'm like, no, I can do maybe like a vodka cranberry, like that's,
Yes. You
and
gotta hang out, girl, because
have
you and
to,
I are the exact same. Because after one
yeah,
drink, or maybe two, depending on what it
yeah,
is,
like 1.5.
right there you
Yeah.
go, 1.5. Yeah,
And
exactly. And then I'm done.
I hate the taste of alcohol even, so I don't I if I drink anything, it has to have like fruits or flavor or
Right, right. It has to, I can't do anything
like,
straight
I can do
or
like
like,
lemon,
yeah.
I can do grapefruit, whatever, but it has to be like a martini with like a fruit in it
Oh, I
or
can't do
something of
martinis. But yeah, it has to be like a
I
mixed
can't I
libation. Yeah,
a mix something where it's like you barely feel it. So
exactly.
anyway,
Yep. Yep.
so because like in high school you don't go through that, but like I wasn't really the party type, and I would spend like all of this time at home. I still do that, and like that's actually a good thing in your early 20s to spend a lot of
Right,
time
right,
at
right.
home.
Yeah,
Like we don't
exactly.
need to party.
Right.
And your friends are going to this Halloween parties and they're all going trick-or-treating together, and I had friends, one of my best friends from Woodlake, actually, she invited me trick-or-treating one year and it was amazing. But like just not having that group of friends to kind of invite you places was really hard for me.
Right.
And then I met my best friend in 8th grade, and that's when she really like invited me places like that, and like that mid end of middle school. She was,
For
you know,
some reason, you're
I
frozen, my
invited me
dear,
bowling when
on
we were
my
small, and
end.
she was really into
Shendel,
like me as a person, so she made
Shendel,
it work.
you're frozen on my end for some
Oh, I
reason.
am. Then
Yeah.
okay,
And I'm looking at my
let me.
connection. It looks like I've got a full connection here. Are you there? Did I lose you?
Okay, am I back yet?
Yes, there you are. Okay.
Okay, there we
All
go.
right.
Okay,
I'm so sorry about that. Okay, you said there you met your best friend and she
I met my
started
best
inviting you
friend, and
places
she,
and then I couldn't
yeah,
hear you after.
and
Okay.
it just and she just we went bowling and we went to the mall and we had like a friend group, like
Oh, I love
and,
that.
like with all the like it was we all knew each other and it was great. And then she moved away and she has her own things. So I was kind of like a hermit a little bit. I still am to this day, and I embrace it. Listen, like I don't want to go to like a party and get wasted and like not remember where I'm
Right, right. I call
right.
myself an extroverted introvert because like I
I
could be a homebody, but if you want to go to dinner or go to like the hot new like place that opened up, not a club, I'm not a club person, but
no clubs,
like if
no
there's
clubs.
like a game, like if there's like a brewery that has like games or something like that, like I'll go for the games or whatever. So
Yeah,
like and I'll
yeah.
go out for that, but like it takes a lot of
Yeah, like I'm
energy
not
too.
gonna go like, get wasted and like
Right.
dance with some random human on the
Right.
no, 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 no. Like in movies it looks cute, but in real life you
Right.
can't. So
And then that's how
so
you meet the love of your life in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, no, no, no.
yeah. So I was just that person who spent like Saturdays and Sundays at home, and I
Aw.
spent a lot of time with my grandparents too, like Grove, Target, like food, like yes.
Hey,
Um
Target's fun. I love going to Target.
dude,
Unfortunately, I
my
need to
grandma's
not
thing was like
eat.
let's go to Target. I was like, yes, let's go to Target. Like,
Unfortunately, I shouldn't be allowed to go to Target
no,
because I
me
always
neither.
spend
Me
too
neither.
much. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. My grandma was like, let's go get the pizza at Target from the Target pizza.
Yes, it is really good. Yes. Oh no, you froze again.
It's
Oh my gosh.
different than the
You froze
it's
again.
like, okay.
Shendel,
Oh my God.
I don't know what's going on. And it, my internet. No. Oh, you're frozen again. Dang it.
What about now?
Okay, we're good.
Are you gonna cut all of this
Yes,
stuff out?
yes, of course. Of no, we're
Okay,
gonna leave it in. Yeah.
okay. Now it's better. I got the internet to work. So yeah.
Okay.
So then my sophomore year of high school was kind of a really, that kind of changed my life a little bit because I didn't mention this, but as you grow, your disability grows with you. So any issues that you have at the beginning of your life get progressively worse as you age. So for
Oh,
example,
interesting.
my CP was, quote, getting worse in the sense that because of my spasticity and because of my inability to straighten my legs all the way, the
Mm-hmm.
weight of my thighs was getting on my knees, and that was causing issues. So
Oh.
imagine you're like 11 or 12 or whatever, and you're small already because I'm really tiny anyway, but then you literally walk with your knees bent all the time. You cannot straighten. Like I was walking like that for years, and my stamina was down, everything was down. And the doctor at Children's Hospital, the chief of ortho at Children's at the time, was like, we need to do something to fix it because she cannot live like this. Like her leg is literally gonna give out. Like
And were
it's
you in a lot of pain at this time, or with CP you don't really feel it because you're
you
so
you
used to
you
it kind
feel
of being in
pain.
that?
You feel pain when you walk. When you don't
Oh,
walk, you don't
gotcha.
feel it.
Oh, you poor
But like
thing. Oh,
I had like I was crawling and I had pimples. It was like on my knees and it was like really bad. And
oh,
I was getting like stretched out because my mom used to take me for like massages and stuff. But like the weight of my bones and my muscles was crushing my knee because obviously as you
oh,
grow, your bones and your muscles grow with
right.
you.
Yeah, you're growing. Yeah.
So,
Oh,
we didn't want it because I am like a huge, and I've had surgeries before this. I didn't mention this because I quickly went into like everything else,
that's
but
okay.
but I had an Achilles lengthening at the age of 5 to fix my tiptoes that I mentioned earlier. Um, which was super painful. I had my abductors cut to help open my legs a little bit because my legs were inward, as I mentioned
Oh
my
my
first thing.
gosh, that just
It was
sounds
like
so
my
painful.
main that
Oh,
was my first major surgery, and I had like pink casts and I had to sleep in I forgot what they're called, but they're kind of like the thing that you put on your leg and you can't bend your leg because
oh,
you velcro them in. I forgot what they're called, and my parent
uh, I'm blanking too, but I know what you're
yeah,
talking about.
they're gray and they're ugly and it's
I know what you're
you can't
talking
bend your
about.
leg.
Oh
Um,
man, I'm blanking
oh
on
my
the
God, I
name too.
forgot. We talk about it all the time. Oh my God, what is it? I
It's
forgot.
kind of like a
Anyways,
stabilizer, but I forgot what it's called because
yeah,
I've
it's like
had
it,
them.
and you secure it with the Velcro, and
Yes, I've had
you
to
can't
use them
bend
as
your
well
leg.
because I've had knee surgery, so I've had to
Yeah,
use
yeah,
them
yeah.
as
You know
well,
what
and
I'm talking
I can't
about.
remember what it's
So I
called.
had that when I was 5, and then my mom kind of let me chill. And then
She
when I
let
was
you chill.
13, when I was 13, my therapist in Budapest recommended a non-invasive procedure by this really famous doctor in Spain. So we went to Spain the summer before my 7th grade, and or no, the summer before my 8th grade, we went to Spain and he did it, and that kind of helped, but I was still having issues. So then the chief of ortho at Children's was like, sweetie, we got to do something. Keep in mind, I cannot stand surgery. Do not touch me with surgery, please. I hate it. I cannot stand it. Like I cry so hard. Like oh my God. I know I'm gonna see my parents like 5 hours later, but I still cry and I'm like,
It's scary.
I can't.
It's scary.
So it's
I've been
scary
through
as a kid.
28
Yeah.
surgeries and like I still get scared and nervous.
Yeah.
Like what if it
Yeah.
doesn't work or what if something goes wrong? Like, I get
Yeah.
it.
Like
Like
how
it's
much
a big
pain am I gonna be in after
well
this?
in that
Like,
too.
what's
And then
tomorrow gonna look like?
I'm actually more nervous about, even though I have really good veins, about the nurse finding a good vein, like for the
Right, me too.
IV. Like that's really my
Yeah,
biggest part, actually. So
yeah.
yeah.
So then the chief of ortho was like, "We have to do this," and I was like, we either do it or your quality of life will severely be impacted because you're gonna keep growing. It's you don't stop growing until you're 25. So I was like, okay, fine. I didn't really make the choice my parents did. Like, I mean, I'm what 15 at this point. Like, I don't have any. I still, like you make a lot of decisions, but you don't make those decisions, right? Um,
Right. Well,
so
you don't realize the impact it'll have on
yeah,
your life at the
so
time,
so I
right?
had a major surgery that was 8 hours. It was my first big surgery.
Oh
Hopefully I
my
don't have to get any
gosh.
more. I had my patella moved up. I had my femoral turned on my left leg. I had something called a knee osteotomy, and I had rods put in the where my knee from where my thighs kind of end to where my knee starts, where your knee kind of
These were
bends.
all together or these were
Yeah,
different
all together
surgeries?
in one surgery. Like one day he did like three. Um,
Oh my
the
gosh.
way I psyched myself out for like 6 months about the surgery, like you should have seen me. I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out. Um,
I don't
so
blame you, like having all
no,
that time one
literally.
time.
So I woke up and I was in that like knee stabilizer thing. My knee was open. I mean, I had my stitch of my like I didn't see anything, but then when he took the stuff off like a week later, like I saw that my knee was literally open with like sutures in it. I was like, what happened?
Um,
I was like, what? So anyway, so that was the summer. That was the summer.
that was your sophomore year, you were
I
saying
think
that
my
was
soft,
really
yeah,
tough
it
for
was
you.
it was June to 2015. So then fall 2015 to spring 2016 would be my sophomore year of high school. Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, I can't even get into that because honestly, that's like a fever dream because I went through so much that then, but
Oh,
it was like major surgery. Like I had to anyway, I had to take off of school because I had to heal. So from
right.
August to December, I had a teacher. Her name is Linda. She's a queen. And she really taught me how to learn. So after that, my grades significantly got better, my work ethic got better, and I kind of did like a 360 flip as far as
That's
academic.
awesome.
So
So
shout
in
out
a
to
way,
her.
the surgery was like very
Yeah. So
cathartic in a way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, I had to be in a cast for 8 weeks. So I spent all summer in bed, like binging all of the shows and doing all of like my parents used to bring me coffee upstairs. I got a TV in my room because I didn't have a TV in my room up until that point. And I like binged all the shows and my friends came over and everything. And then like September maybe, like after I was laying for 8 weeks or 9 weeks or whatever it was, I stood up for the first time. The most anxiety ridden painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah, don't recommend. That was really hard. But what that surgery did was the rods and all of that stuff that's in my knee, like stopped the spasticity and made me straighter. So I'm no longer spastic. So that
That's
surgery fixed everything.
awesome.
Or not fixed everything, but basically fixed it so I can now live without any pain. And my state, like I'm taller. I'm still really tiny. I'm 5'1", but it's better than being
Are
4'10".
you
And
really? You look
I'm
so much taller in your
I'm
pictures. Oh
really
my God.
small. I am so small. Everyone's taller than me. All my
Oh,
friends, my mom's 5'4". My mom is even taller than me.
oh, that's
Um,
okay though.
by
That's
like
all
a
right.
few inches. So I'm really small.
You're
I'm
you're
super
small.
small.
You're small but mighty. Like,
Yeah,
like
I'm small, but I'm not petite. But also
that's
like
okay. You're
if
still gorgeous.
I
Like
know,
I like all
like,
the guys out there listening. She
yeah.
is amazing. She is beautiful inside
Thank
and out.
you.
So
That's
you are,
very that's
a
that's
PSA.
very sweet. I don't know
Yeah.
if my future husband's gonna listen to this or my
Right.
future,
Maybe they're out there
but
listening to this, but yeah.
I'll whenever that happens and whenever I meet him, I'll show him this and be like, see, you were mentioned before we even met,
Right?
right?
Exactly.
So yeah, so that surgery kind of fixed everything and kind of like my entire life after that kind of uh like went up, I guess.
So with you, so I have rods in my hip and in my knee because I've had them replaced. Do you
Yes.
feel them once in a while or you don't feel them at all?
I don't feel them because
Okay, that's good.
yeah, he numbed that whole area. So even like to this day, like I don't feel anything like around my
Oh,
scalp.
lucky. So
Like
even if it's cold outside, you don't
when I'm
feel anything?
shaving, like I feel it everywhere, and then I get there and it's like I don't feel anything.
But when
So
it's cold outside, do you feel it at all or you
no, no,
don't get
no. They healed really well. Like I have
so
nothing,
no arthritis or
no
wow.
nothing.
Oh,
Like it's a little bumpy, so I have to put like scar cream on it. But
right.
and also I wanted to bring this up. Like when I came back from my little surgical leave, I was really insecure about my scars
Sure.
because up
I know
until
what
that
that's
point,
like.
like
I've
I could wear
recently been through
skirts and
that.
shorts and like my knee would look like someone else's knee, and now my knee doesn't look like that. So for the first probably 5 months of that, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna look like in shorts, and what am I gonna look like in skirts? And I'm gonna have to wear pants for like the rest of my life, and like no one's gonna like this, my life is over. No, it isn't. She gave me scar cream. We're good. Like I wear shorts and pants all the time. Like short skirts, whatever, dresses, like I'm good. I'm like I'm not ashamed of my scars at all. Like it's
I'm getting used to, so my most recent surgery was my knee replacement in December, and it's a
mm,
huge scar, and it's getting better, but I'm still very, very self-conscious
yeah.
about it. So you'll have
Yeah.
to give me some
You have to
pointers
you have to
because
learn it. Once you do it once and it grow, because I didn't realize this, but as the years go on, your scars, even if you like, they kind of fade on their own.
right,
They don't
right.
like
Yeah,
fade all the
exactly.
way,
They
like
get kind of
it's still
smaller,
there,
but not
but they
really.
get
But yeah,
smaller and your like body acclimates to it. And
right.
so like at the beginning when it was really big and bloody and still healing, I was like, no way, bye. But now it's like, oh, there's a scar on your knee, cool. So, it's noticeable. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's not noticeable. And the one on my ankle where they did the femoral rotation is also very noticeable. But like genuinely, like I don't think anyone's looking at your knee that closely because that's a
True,
little
true.
weird.
I
Like,
mean, that's true. You're
your leg,
very right. It's
unless
just
it's like your parents or like your best friend or your boyfriend, like you're absolutely okay. So I love my scars. I don't think it's a problem. Like I wear the skirt, I wear the dress, and like we move on. Like
right, right, right.
I'm like I don't
This
put
girl is a warrior here,
I
guys.
don't
Like,
put
you don't
anything on them.
understand.
I just move on. Like, what am I gonna do? I was really insecure about it, but now I'm not. And like it took me a second. I think it was kind of fused together with like the surgery. And since I didn't process it all the way, like that was what that was for. And now that I kind of processed it and I lived through it, I'm like, I'm over it. I don't have to think about it again.
Wait,
So
so the
yeah.
fact that you said you went to Spain for this surgery, correct?
No,
Or
this one was in LA at
oh,
Children's.
okay, because
The
I was like,
one the
how
one
did
in
you fly like being in
the
all
one
that
in
pain?
Spain was I forgot what it's called. It has like a name. There's
Okay,
a really famous doctor, a Russian doctor. Of course, he's Russian,
but in Spain.
of course. He does this in Spain, and it's like it's a microscopic surgery. It's a non-invasive. Um,
Oh, okay,
like
okay. I was like, how did you like
apparently,
you're like in like a
okay,
body
so
cast basically flying
I
back home.
listen,
Okay.
so I had that surgery in July of 2013, and the big one was 2 years later in July of 15. Because
Gotcha.
yeah, so that one in Spain was a micro-invasive one where it was like he would just cut the tendons, and the scar at the end of it would be like a little hole on your leg or wherever, and it would just be a little hole. And
God,
like
okay,
that
that
it
makes
wasn't
sense.
anything big. It was still very painful, but it was kind of more the pain was from the
It was
inside.
less invasive.
Yeah,
Got it.
it was less
Okay.
invasive. So like now if you look at my leg, you wouldn't even see where it is because the
Gotcha.
hole
Okay, okay,
disappeared.
because then
The hole is gone. Like, nobody.
gotcha. Because in my
Um,
head, I'm like, oh my God, she's like
no,
covered
those
in
were
like half a body cast, basically
those were
flying back from Spain to the
yeah, no, 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 no,
US.
no. That
Okay,
that
okay,
one, yeah,
gotcha.
that
Okay,
one,
that
yeah,
makes
no.
more sense.
Yeah. So then that surgery, I don't think it worked. I still don't know if I got any better because of it, but I don't think that surgery did anything for
The
me
one you had in
personally.
Spain or
The
the
one I had
one?
in Spain, I still
Okay,
think
gotcha.
they like we shouldn't have gotten it. Like I don't know, it just didn't work on me. So that's why we had the big one because it was that one we knew that one was gonna fix a lot of issues. So
Right.
that one had the most like mental like
It took a mental toll on you.
stress, mental distress, it was
Oh.
probably the hardest 4 months of my life, I would say, ever.
Well,
And
because it
that's
was
the
a
thing with
huge
the
surgery you had to prep
disability.
for.
Huge, 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 huge. And then I went back to school January of 2016. I remember my first day. And then everything kind of just fell into place after that. And absolutely fine. Of course, I had my friends changed, the vibe changed, like stuff happened, but it was just normal
Like
school.
regular
I was
high
a normal
school
teenager.
stuff. Yeah.
Then and then what else happened? And then I graduated and did prom and all of that, which by the way, I didn't get asked to prom either. So kind of like I was still having that kind of teenager issue of like I didn't really have a friend group.
I didn't
Like
get
a
asked
lot of
either.
people
I had to
knew
find
me.
my own date. So if
Yeah.
it makes you feel better,
I didn't
I
really
never
have
got
a
asked to prom either.
yeah, I was yeah, so I didn't really have the friend group. I didn't really have like the friends to back you up when you came back. Like I knew a lot of people and a lot of people knew me and I was very close with a lot of individuals, but it wasn't and I mean I had my best friend as well, but we didn't get closer till after school ended. Um
Oh,
so it was like really hard, but like I think everyone's high school experience is really hard.
yeah,
So
I would never redo high school.
no,
I
no,
had
none
some
of
good
us. Like
experiences, but horrible experiences.
I talk to my friends and my classmates now, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, those 4 years were so hard."
I
I was like,
think
"I
I
know."
talked to maybe
Yeah,
three
yeah.
people
And like
from high school. Yeah.
I'm close with a lot of people that I didn't talk to then because now we're older and now we're like, "Oh wait, hold on." So I think high school is just horrible for everybody. So it wasn't just me.
No.
Um,
I
it was like
again, I think I talked to like three people and it's
it was
very rare.
very
So,
it was
yeah, it's very like it's not even like every day. It's just like once in a
yeah,
while we'll catch up. I mean, I'm on Facebook with a lot of people. I don't even know
right.
why we follow each
Yeah.
other, but we
So,
do.
so yeah, so that was fine, and we, did our high school stuff,
Right.
and then, and then it came time for me to go to college. Now, this is where the stuff gets like, okay, so,
Okay.
so, you know, I have always been a big dreamer, that. So my dream
Right.
was like UCLA, USC. Like I was just like, and I am my dad's second child, but my mom's first child. So my dad
Okay.
already been through the whole college experience with my half sister, and
Gotcha.
so he's chill. He's like he's been through this before, but my mom hasn't, and I am a high achiever and a perfectionist because of her, because she's a high achiever and a
Right,
perfectionist.
right, 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 right.
And she's, Eastern European. So it's like, of course, going to college and school is very important. And it's like in the Russian culture, like you obviously tell your friends like where your kids go to college and like you go to the same parties and you do the same things. So they have their own friend group. So everyone's child was going to college. And I applied and I was like, yay, I'm going to get into college. I'm going to go to UCLA. Like I even went as far as to be a little delusional and go like NYU, like, yeah. And nothing.
You're not
I
being delusional by
got
applying to
nothing.
NYU.
Yeah, I got nothing. I applied to 8 schools and rejection, 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 rejection. Like,
Oh,
and everyone around me was getting their letters and planning and whatever.
right.
So my senior year of high school was probably the most depressed I've ever been. And also like after my surgery, I developed like really bad anxiety because I started performing really well in school, like academically. Like I said, I had a whole 360 of
Right,
like
right, right.
the
Uh-huh.
work I was producing and the relationships I had and whatever.
Right.
So I developed like a little bit of anxiety, like not to the point where, I have to medicate or whatever, but
Sure,
I
sure, sure.
I get anxiety and I get nervous when I don't achieve, like I don't perform the way I know I can perform, when, I'm not comfortable in a certain place or whatever. And before I didn't really know how to like articulate that or verbalize it or say it.
Sure,
But as I
sure.
got
That
older, I was
makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
wait, anxiety, like I have
Right.
so my anxiety and my depression got really bad um senior year of high school, because everyone around me was getting it and I wasn't getting it, and I was like, you know what, I was really hard on myself and I was like, if I do not get into school, I'm gonna be like the bum on the side of the road, and I'm
Oh.
not gonna, yeah, I was really bad. So community college, Moore Park.
Hey, I went
Yeah,
there. That's
more park,
okay.
more park, more park. And that was different because you are so used to having structure, and you don't have structure anymore. You don't go to school with the same people.
Right.
You don't you like see these random individuals in your classes that you're never going to see again. The people like your disability is covered under ADA, but like, a teacher does not have to give you what you need,
Was your experience, if I remember correctly, I think they have a really good
They do.
student services program
They
there,
do.
like
It's
for
called
the, yeah,
Access.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
I love them. They were so helpful, especially
Right,
because Moore Park is on a hill and
right.
it's
Yes,
dangerous for
yes,
someone with a walker to go up
yes.
and down the hill. So they were very gracious in that way.
Good.
And also the counselors were amazing. Um,
Yes, I had a good
so
counselor as well when I
yeah.
went there. I remember
So
that because,
my Moore Park experience was great and it's definitely better than Pierce. Sorry to the Pierce
right.
College,
No, 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 I
but
agree with you.
but it is. It definitely, and the
I had a
campus
lot of friends that
here.
went to Pierce, but I'm like, Moore Park was way better.
Moore
My
Park was
best
way
friend
better.
and I went to
Um,
Moore Park. Yeah.
and then I really struggled in college because I wasn't ready for it, like in the sense that like you either do the work or you don't, you either fail or you
Right.
don't, and no one really cares. Uh, yeah, so I had to acclimate. So I remember my first day, like I came out of my first class sobbing. I was like, I cannot do this.
Oh,
I called one of my favorite teachers from high school because he kept in touch with me after we graduated and he just wanted to know like how I was doing.
right,
And I called him and I was like, I can't do this. Like you've known me like for my entire life and like I cannot do this.
right.
Like I had friends from school that went to Moore Park too, and they all came to me and they're like, Shendel, what's wrong? And I was like, I can't do it. So that first day was really
It's
hard.
very overwhelming. Yeah, I
No,
get
because
it.
it was new. Like you're used to seeing
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
people, and now it's like okay.
Right, right.
So, I got used to it and I kind of found my groove and I had really amazing teachers and except for one, but
Yeah, I had a few,
I had yeah, that one I'm not
few
gonna talk about. We
sour
really
apples, if you
bad.
will. Yeah.
Um, but I worked really hard and because I worked really hard, I got to transfer to CLU. During
Hey, there you
COVID.
go.
I
That's
I
right
went to
near
CL
me.
I transferred to CLU during COVID, so my first semester was August of 2020.
Okay.
So I went
Online.
CLU was like dream school. Like literally, I was so happy to get in. I was like, oh my God, I worked so hard and I did
That's
it.
awesome. And what was your
Um,
major?
Communications with an emphasis in public relations and a
Yep.
minor.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, a
Again,
minor
remember,
in
guys,
law.
she's an aspiring public relations
Yeah,
professional. So if you're hiring,
a
holler.
minor in law as well because I couldn't decide.
Hey,
Um, couldn't decide. So, I went there and that was amazing. Like everyone at that school is amazing, and the
and they
disabled.
too have a really good disabled
Yeah,
students
yeah, and
services.
they did all
Um,
the accommodations for me. They like moved class.
yeah,
They
because
did
I
all
had a
that.
friend who had a disability as well as an ex-boyfriend who had a disability who needed services there. So that's how I know. And they both went to
Yeah, yeah.
CLU. So
They're amazing. I
yeah,
loved it. And then obviously COVID was really interesting because that was really helpful for me because you didn't have to go anywhere. So
right. So
I
it
was,
wasn't as overwhelming for you.
it wasn't overwhelming in the sense that, but I didn't have to like wake up every day and like get ready and go. I
Right,
could
right, 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 right. Yeah.
pajamas, Zoom, coffee to. And then so that was really amazing. And then somewhere in between my journey from Moore Park to CLU, I started looking into driving because my parents and I were like, listen, you didn't do the whole 15 and a half, 16 thing, but we want you to drive. So we got me into driving and we got me my hand controls
Oh,
and
that's
I
awesome.
started driving with an instructor whose name is Frank. He is based in Corona, but he works with all types of disabilities and he has all different types of hand controls and he comes and evaluates you and then he works with you to drive. So I haven't taken my license test yet, but I'm doing that in the fall.
That's
I've
amazing, Shendel. Oh my
I've been
gosh.
yeah. I lost a little bit of time with him because of COVID. So, I'm getting my license much sooner than, I mean, much later than I was
That's
planning.
okay.
But September, guys. Like
That's
this, probably
amazing.
the fall
No,
and
and
spring.
that's not that far away.
Yeah,
Like it's gonna be
yeah,
here before you
yeah.
know it.
And my parents ended up getting me a Tesla because they thought that was the safest car for me because they
Hey.
it has all of the features in it. Like it beeps every time you do something and it has the autopilot in it. So, you
So
know,
that is actually help. I mean, that
yeah, it's
autopilot
helpful.
scares me to death, but I guess for
No, yeah,
somebody,
yeah, I
I
have
guess for someone who's disabled, or it would be
yeah, yeah.
helpful.
So they were like, listen, we would love for you to have a Tesla because we were trying to figure out like what car would be the best for me.
Right,
And
that makes
they were just
sense.
like, listen, the technology is gonna advance. Like, Elon Musk is gonna make like 5 more spaceships and 3 more like thingies.
I,
So
yeah,
let's just
those trucks are a little weird looking, I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah,
lie.
yeah. My
Yeah.
mom wants one, so we were talking about.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Just
okay,
they look like they belong on the moon. That's all I'm
yeah,
gonna
like they look
say.
like Dune Part 3, like
Yeah.
Dune Part 1. Like I'm waiting for like this
There
is
you
waiting
go.
on
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Um, so we got me a Tesla, and so I've been driving that, and it's literally like a golf cart. You don't even feel it.
That's
Um,
really
and
cool.
also because electric cars in California, like everybody has one, and gas is insane, and like that would be an extra thing that I would have to learn, how to like get out of the car and put gas in the car. They were like, you know what? We just feel safer if you just
Right,
elect,
and you just have to
elect
charge it, and but you can
yeah,
sit
yeah.
there while it's charging. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we got that and we did it and I have my hand control installed and I
That's
like
really
sleep tight.
great.
Like I went on the freeway last week for the first time. Like,
Hey,
yeah,
and
it
the
was
101
amazing.
can be scary at times,
Yeah,
so,
no, I went 101 north towards Thousand Oaks and I drove all the way to CLU and back.
why
So,
didn't you say hi? I literally live like 5 blocks away
yeah,
from
well, we didn't know
CLU.
each other as of
Yeah,
last.
okay, very
Um,
true, very true.
yeah. So it's all good and everything's good. And then, I kind of found my groove, like yeah, like I told you this whole story about my life, but like I think I'm finally at a place where like I found my groove and I'm okay, because I was
Right,
not okay
and
for a long time. I was
yeah,
like I'm still not okay, but no one is like nobody knows what they're doing. But I found my groove. Like I started going to therapy and I started being okay with like not having like 5 billion friends and having just one. And that's my very, very best friend Lisa, who I've known since I was a baby, and we've gotten closer and it's fine. So
right.
and then to kind of finish out the education thing, like I didn't really know what to do, what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to be in fashion and beauty and media because I never really saw anybody with my issues in there. And I was like, listen, if there's not a person that I can look up to, then I'm going to be that person for the next
I
generation.
love it.
So
And
I
this is the time
said,
to do that because everybody
yeah,
that's happening. Yeah.
yeah. And I always kind of said, like, listen, like this is probably going to be like the most delusional sentence that I ever say, but like
You're not delusional. You're a
I
big
always
dreamer. I
I
love
always
it.
I always said, I was like, listen, I want a girl with her little mini walker, like the steel one with the handles, to walk down Sunset Boulevard with her mom or whatever, or I don't even know, like maybe she lives there. Okay. And I want to have her look up at me and kind of be like, listen, if she can do that, I can do that.
Exactly.
And not limit
And
it.
I totally
And
believe that
you
will
know,
happen.
yeah. So that was, I mean, I know I sound like so Delulu when I say that.
No, you
And,
don't.
but,
I'm gonna tell you, my dear, you
it
do
was
not
like,
sound that way.
it doesn't even have to be like a billboard on Sunset. It could be like Instagram post, or it could be like a thingy in Sephora, or it could
Or
be
New York
with
Fashion Week or
or
something.
or New York Fashion Week, or I don't even know, like a magazine maybe, like I don't know, like New York Times, LA Times, who knows? One of those panels at the Paley Center, like you don't
Right.
know, right? So or
Exactly.
like Comic Con even, right? Or something like that. So I would just want to, that was kind of my goal with this, is like whether I'm in PR, whether I'm in media, um like I'm the PR person for that agency, and like I have a disability, but like regardless of that, like I'm still doing what I love to do. And it's genuinely not about the money for me. Like obviously I know that you need money to live, and if I get to that point where I can be financially secure and like have like the lifestyle that I want. I mentioned it earlier when we were off camera, but
Right.
like it's not about that, so yeah, I think that's it. I mean,
Well, and then how did you get into
oh,
modeling? You
oh my
said
God, I
like
forgot about
that, yeah,
I
like
got
the
about
most important part. I'm just
the
kidding.
most
Not
important
the
part.
most important
So
part, but you know what I mean.
well, that's not the most important part, but
Right,
that's
no,
like,
you know what I mean.
yeah, I know we. And then I always knew that I wanted to do modeling in the sense that like since I brought the billboard stuff up and I brought all that stuff up, I was like, hey, this would be something cool. But then also like realistically, like I've never seen someone with a wheelchair on a runway or on a billboard or in an ad or working with a brand. And then because of like all of the Instagram and the TikTok and the influencers and all of that extra stuff that the influencers do, like the events and the brand trips and all of those things that you see, like I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I did that? Like, and even my mom was like, why don't you do that? Like, what,
Right. Like
like,
what's stopping
my
you?
mom,
Right.
I mean, she was hyping me up a little bit and she was like, have you seen how pretty you are? Like, I was like, thanks, mom. And she's like, listen, if this random human from this state can do it, then you can do it, kind of.
Right.
So to be honest, my modeling journey or like, whatever was it was brought on because I didn't mention this earlier, but it was brought on because my very, very best friend died from cancer in 2020 and she
I'm
had
so
melanoma.
sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry for your
You.
loss.
She died from melanoma in 2020, and one of the wishes through Make-A-Wish Foundation that she did was she wanted to have an all expenses paid like a themed photo shoot. And she did it. She had like a Victorian Bridgerton kind of rain
Oh,
kind
cool. Oh,
of photo
awesome.
shoot.
Right, right.
And she connected me with this woman, and her name is Jen. And Jen is one of my favorite people on the earth. She's probably gonna listen to this. So hi, Jen, because she's
Hey,
gonna
Jen.
I love Jen. Jen started this nonprofit called the Phoenix Effect, and it's basically her way of giving back because
Phoenix
she,
Effect. Okay, we
yeah,
might have to have
called-
her on the
yeah,
podcast
the,
if
the
she's
Phoenix
willing.
Effect LLC. Um,
Okay,
she basically
gonna
what
write
that
it down.
yeah. You can even search it up if you want. She has a
Okay.
website. We all are on it, and it's basically a nonprofit that she runs and owns that does photo shoots for people with illnesses, disabilities, cancers,
Oh, cool.
uh,
Okay.
domestic violence, homelessness, like and anything. You have
Oh,
an issue.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she does, and we're known as her phoenixes
I love
because
that.
we rise above the ashes, because we rise
Right.
above the ashes of disability,
Right.
our
But
issues,
we
whatever
rise
it may be.
above whatever hand we were dealt. That's
So
amazing.
back in 2017, during the spring of my junior year of high school, she texts me, Cami, my best friend who passed away, texts me that she's doing this photo shoot with Jen. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to see it. What is going on? Who's Jen? So
Right,
she
right, right.
with Jen, and then I meet Jen, and then I do my photo shoot with Jen. And it's beautiful. It's like classy but elegant but sexy but sultry. And it's with all of these different clothes from she's a stylist. So she pulls the clothes
Oh,
and she
wow.
arranges them like in a different setting. So for example, she
It's okay. You can drink your coffee or whatever that
no,
is.
my dad walked in, he gave me a bowl of strawberries. Hi.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Dad.
Yeah, this is
That's
how
okay.
my dad
Hey, we're
shows up.
having a
He gives me,
conversation. You're
yeah,
welcome to
yeah,
eat or
yeah,
drink,
yeah,
whatever you feel
yeah.
comfortable with.
Gave me snacks. So I did my photo shoot with Jen, and basically the photo shoot is like you get your hair done, you get your makeup done, your outfits are planned for you. She like finds the locations of your
Oh
shoe
my gosh.
folder. So mine was like very elegant, very classy. Like there's a picture of me in an orange bathroom with a Kate Spade, like big beach hat and gloves. And then there's one in
Oh,
like
I love that.
a necklace. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's
Yeah, it
very
sounds
beautiful.
beautiful.
And
Oh
and
my
and
gosh.
there's
And where was
one
my
where
invite? That's what like how awesome it sounds. That's
no,
amazing.
literally. And I met a few amazing people on that shoot. I met one of my really, really good friends, Alon. She happens to be Eva Longoria's makeup artist, and she lives
Hey,
and she sorry, I got a text.
that's okay. No worries. And you're a model, so you're like very in demand,
No,
so
no,
we
no,
got
it's
this.
my mom.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Mom's
my mom
important
just
too.
asked me a question.
That's
So
okay.
anyway, so I'm eating. She can
That's
see
okay.
me.
This is a
Strawberry.
conversation. It's a cool vibe, so go for it.
So wait, let me chew. Let me chew on
No, I don't
that.
want you to chew. I'm just kidding.
Um, mhm. So so Alana ended up doing my makeup, and she is very, very good friends with Eva Longoria because she does her makeup and they work together for quite a bit. And I'm still in touch with both of them. I call them my second moms. Like, so anyway, so I did that. And because, she's had this nonprofit for a few years,
Right.
I am one of the, like, I wouldn't say I'm the founding member because there's not that doesn't exist, but I was one of the first ones that she did. And because we keep in touch, and because she considers me her adopted daughter because she only has sons, Phoenix Effect really was the reason why I do it now.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
like that
Such a
was my first
beautiful
big photo
story.
shoot. That was my first big photo shoot in like in any like capacity, whether VIP,
Right, right, right.
whether
Uh-huh.
celebrity, whatever. So that was like my first, like, I guess, quote, celebrity experience. um and those pictures really skyrocketed, well, I wouldn't say skyrocketed me because I mean I'm not everywhere, but like that kind of, those pictures gave me the confidence to be like, okay, I
Right,
need
this
to
is
do
something I can do.
I
Right.
need to do this. There's no reason why I shouldn't. Because have you
Right.
seen the pictures? So she gave me the book and I have a digital version of the pictures.
Oh
And
my gosh, I'd love to see it. Yeah, you'll
I
have to send
started
me some.
I started posting them and I started dealing with it, and I mean I don't have crazy amounts of followers on Instagram, but
That's
it
okay.
kind of became my kind of way of saying, like, hey, this is my disability and here I'm wearing like a coat with a bodysuit, and like I'm pretty, kind of thing. Kind of gave me my confidence and kind of was like the reason that I decided to do it. And so I still do that, I'm still I go to Phoenix Effect events sometimes, like she invites me to things. So, I, again, as I said, like I'm not a founding member, but I'm one of the very first. And Cami also did it, may she rest in peace. So
Oh,
also keep up that because of her, because
right. I love that. That's amazing. Does the Phoenix Effect have an Instagram?
yes, it's
Okay, perfect. I'm definitely gonna
Phoenix
follow them.
Effect.
And then
Please follow them.
if
Jen works
Elon,
really
yeah,
hard.
if she's
Jen works really
interested
hard.
if
Yeah.
she's interested in being on the podcast, or maybe you can both be on the podcast, come
Mhm.
back and be on the podcast
Yeah.
together. That would be awesome. Like to talk about her organization and
It's
everything. That's
amazing.
amazing.
Everything's
I,
included, makeup,
I
hairstyling, like
love that. That's
it's like
such a beautiful thing.
your dream day in the theme that you wanted. So she did there was a girl who recently did it. She did like an Emily in Paris theme, and then there was one that has a boho theme, and then Cammy's was um royal or like regal, not like Bridgerton, but like regal,
Right, right,
and
right.
um, not like Regency era, but like like King Henry VIII and like all of this thing.
Right,
And
right, right.
mine was kind of, I wouldn't give mine a theme because mine was just like be I guess mine was elegant. Yeah, I guess mine was that. I don't know what I would call mine, honestly, but mine was pretty.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think, like, if I missed any of the like I'm trying to think, like, visually, if I missed any of the
Yeah,
photos.
you're painting a picture for like our listeners
Yeah,
and
yeah, I'm painting a
viewers,
picture
and
for
it's
myself
yeah.
so that I don't forget anything. And then
Even though
yeah,
you were
so I
there
have
living it and
pictures.
everything.
And
Yeah.
I just did college normally, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So then I was like, okay, then I have to do like another photo shoot. So then I got connected with a friend of mine, um, whose daughter who has a friend whose daughter has a learning disability, and she has this independent magazine called Embrace Beauty Mag, and she reached out to me and asked me to be what, well, no, did I don't remember if I asked her or if she asked me, but I ended up doing a photo shoot on a beach in Malibu for her independent magazine called Embrace Beauty Magazine, and
Love that.
they did like a whole thing about Malibu, California, and people that live there. So that was one of my second shoots. That was like right before COVID. And then, COVID, I couldn't do anything. Or like, so I worked at a PR agency remotely. Shout out to CLDPR, which was my first big career move.
Woohoo!
Then I did it, and then in college, well, I started that in college. I started the internship in college. And then I kind of stayed there from 21 until 22. And then interned. I interned in a law firm as well.
Okay.
So did a bunch of things, right? So I did a bunch of things. It's kind of getting squiggly because time is time.
That's
But
okay.
and right. So then I was kind of thinking of modeling as a side hustle because PR is what I do, and I'm good at
Right, and
it,
they're
and I've
kind
done
of
it before.
intertwined in a
So
little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like they're like you model and you do PR and you do your own
Right,
publicity,
right,
and
right.
then
Yeah.
during this time and currently, like, I was into books and TV shows, and I had friends, who were acting and they were doing their own thing. So like at the same time, like I was talking about like stuff that I like books that I like and TV shows that I like and actors that I like. So it was all kind of together.
Right.
And my friends would call me annoying because once I like get on a TV show, I like Google the name of the actor and like what other things they're into, and I'm the annoying kid that like knows everything about everything, and like,
That's okay.
for too
I'm
long.
a pop culture queen myself. Like
No,
I love
listen,
it.
like if I find out about a TV show and I love it, I talk about it for like months.
I love it. And just to kind of, you can eat your strawberry while you're doing that. I watched the Tonys the other day,
Mhm.
and what musical was it? I think it was Sus, which is about like women's rights and everything, about like when they got the right to vote.
Yeah.
Um, and there was an
It's called
actress in a
Stuffs.
Sups,
Oh my God, the fact
Suff.
that you mentioned that is insane because one of my friends is in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because there was an actress who was in a wheelchair, and I
it
just
was.
got, yeah,
Oh my
on stage, and I got chills because I'm like, finally, we're getting visibility here.
God.
And she was doing the choreography, and it just, you forgot she was in a wheelchair. I mean, and it's just like, thank you for whoever picked her to
Yeah,
be in that musical. It was just amazing to see that.
I am so attractively eating strawberries in front of you.
That's okay. We've been
Um,
talking for a while, so it's okay.
yeah, no, my dad came in with strawberries to like make sure that I'm eating,
That's
snacking.
okay.
Um, yeah, so I did all,
I'll text you what it's called to show you the clip,
no, it's
or
called Stuffs, I think.
I'll show you the YouTube
Yeah,
I'll text you the YouTube of it, but
because I saw clips of it because the friend is in the cast, so
right.
and we follow each other on Instagram, so I
That's
saw it.
awesome.
I
Right.
was like, I was not. So anyway, like I'm TV show, book, everything. So I was like, this is what I want to do. So then I wanted to also do fashion. So I did PR, still do it. Like I'm interning at a PR firm right now. I've done it before.
That's awesome.
Um, I worked for a disability employment center called Zavacon as well. So I was able to do PR and social media on the more disabled end of things. So it kind of all meshed together into like this giant cloud of stuff. So
Right.
then I said, hey, like if I already work in PR and social media, like why can't I be the PR and social media, but like not in kind
Like
of
be
like
the
a nar
subject of it. Right.
like
Exactly.
not in like a kind of like a narcissistic like I need to be in this way, but like
No,
kind
no,
of
no. Of
the
course.
I've always wanted to do it. Now
Right.
is the time to do it. I'm already kind of in the trenches of it, meaning
Right.
like I'm writing press releases. I'm buying all this makeup at Sephora. Like I know what the brands are and who the designers are and who the stylists are and who the celebs are and all of these different things. So why can't I do that? Like if
Right.
someone on TikTok can have like 15 million followers or whatever, not that I would ever, that's not the vibe that I want to go for, but
Right.
basically
That's not your goal. Right.
that's not my
Exactly.
goal of like, being this like mega influencer, but like
It would be
if
nice, but
yeah,
yeah, that's not the
like
goal. Right. Exactly. I
if
had
I can
another guest like that. We were
yeah
talking about that where like it would be nice, but that's not like what we're
yeah like
going
I'm
for.
I'm good with like not having 50 million followers and like having
Right. It
like
could be, I heard it can be quite like overwhelming. So,
yeah, because you're like expected to make content for like all these people, right?
right.
So
Exactly.
so I was like, well, I don't want to be an influencer really, but I also like if I
But
get
you
to the
want to use your platform
right,
for
like
advocacy,
if
for
I have a
disabled, for
platform at
ableism.
all,
Yeah.
like let me use it.
Right.
So then I said I was like, okay, let's do it. And to be honest, like people are gonna probably think that this is not what went down, but this is what went down. Like I was like, let me just apply, let me forget about it. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be because one of my really, really good friends who's an actor who's been doing this for a while, he's like, listen, if something is meant for you, there is absolutely no way that you can miss it. So whether it's a role or whether it's an opportunity or whether it's like a lead role in a TV show or something like that, if it's meant for you, it will be for you. So
I
just do
love
what you
that.
can, do what you can, and then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And he's very like into that. And I remember now that I brought this up, I remember when I started my journey in TV, film, and acting and modeling and all that. I went to go audition for the show. For this show, I'm not going to disclose what show it
That's
was, but
okay. That's okay.
I sent the self tape in for this audition, and the person that was casting at the time apparently wasn't aware that disabled people were auditioning. So that didn't end well. Let's just put it that way, because I'm not about to, ruin someone's ruin something here. But that didn't end well. Let's just put it that way. So I was very discouraged, and I was like, "There's no way that I could do this." And he's like, "Honey, he was like, sweetie, there's like a million casting agents in this town. There's a
Right.
million,
Not just
a
one.
million agencies."
Thankfully, we live in or close to Los
He was like,
Angeles. Yeah.
there's a million agents and there's a million people, and you
Right.
can't get mad because one of them didn't like you. Like, if you are meant to do it, then one day I will see you on set. I promise.
I really love that. That's amazing.
No, no,
It
no,
could
no,
be
no.
applied to anything. Like, not just like being in the industry, but
Yeah,
that really could be applied to anything. So
yeah.
for like all of
No,
our
but
listeners and
he
viewers
because
out
he's
there,
in the
yeah.
industry, and because he's had massive success with it, he knows. So he was telling me, he was like, listen, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it is,
Right.
who knows? I might be in a project, you might be in a project, whatever, and we might
Right.
work, whatever.
Right.
But and this was like right before I did it. So I was not signed to anybody. I was not doing anything. So this is like, I don't know, like before COVID, like I'm just like floating around in the air, kind of like just finishing school and transferring, whatever. And I really, really wanted to do it, but I felt discouraged. So that's when he told me that. And then and the funny thing is, I kept the text message that had the thing in it. And now looking back on it, like all my friends are like, not him being right, not him being right. And I was like, okay, stop. So like stuff like that, like I think that's what pushed me to do it. It wasn't even that he said that, but I was like, I have to at least try because we've already talked.
Exactly.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who the friend is, doesn't matter who I have to do it because
I was telling you
talked
you can
about
eat your strawberry. I was telling you offline that I've been told like practically since middle school, you're not talented enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, you're
it.
not any of
That's
these
not a
things.
thing.
And I finally got to a point where I'm like, if I don't at least try, I'm gonna regret it. And I
Mhm.
don't want to live with regret. And if it's not
Right.
meant to be, that's a whole different story. But if I don't try
Yeah,
like
that was
my dream at Broadway, or if I don't try to become like a disabled model or whatever, then I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah,
So why not
like
try? And what's the
right.
hurt and what's the worst that can happen? They say no,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
doesn't
And
hurt.
that's with everything. Like that's how I think, that's how I frame my life a little bit. It's like
Right.
if you don't ask the question, you're not gonna have an answer. So keep
Exactly. I'm one of those
asking
annoying people in
it
class that I ask
anyway.
a lot of questions, but it's like, well, I'm sure there's
Yeah,
somebody in here who
like
is too afraid to ask it. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm like I used to be so afraid of like things, and now I'm like, what's the worst thing he could say? No, just ask. I've done things now and before where I just like it could be an email. Like send the email. If the
Right.
person responds to your email, great. And if the person responds to your email and says no, great. But at least you sent the email and at least you asked the question, or at least
Exactly.
you sent the text.
Exactly.
Or
And that you
like,
kind of gave me that confidence when we
yeah,
were talking offline about a certain agency that I was like, well, what if like why was this the case? And so that
right.
really gave me the confidence because it's like, what's the worst they can say? Like, hey, I'm
Yeah,
not
like
gonna
what?
talk to you,
You're gonna
or they
get
don't get
upset
back
that
to
someone said no to you? Like, of course, feel your feelings and be
right,
upset that
or
they
they
not
don't
want
get back to you. Like, I mean,
but
so
everyone ends up where they're meant to be. They're meant to meet the
I
people that
agree.
they meet. They're meant to be where they are. And a lot of people don't think that way, and that's completely fine. But I do. Listen, I always said, and this is what I want everyone and Ashley to take away from this is I fully believe my parents are my parents for a reason. Where
Right,
I live for a reason. My
right,
life is my life for a reason. My CP is my CP for a reason. My neighbor
exactly.
doesn't have CP. No one in my family other than me has CP. No one has struggled with it. It's not like a genetic thing. You can't inherit it from anybody. You know, it's not like, oh, my dad has one thing and then the next day I'm gonna get it, like because of the pregnancies and all this. Like, no. So
It just
I
happens, right?
I basically want I don't even remember when I had this kind of realization. Like, there's a reason why this is happening to me, and this is why there's a reason why I'm struggling this much with everything. There's a reason why um I'm like this. And of course I have my days in my life where I'm just like it gets too hard and I cry and I'm like, I
Of
don't want to
course,
do this.
we all have
But
our bad days,
I
right?
have that like where it just gets so hard and I'm just like, what the F did I do to deserve this? Like I'm so tired. But I fully believe that it was meant to happen to me, and the reason my birthday is my birthday is for a reason, and the
Right,
reason it came early is the reason is a reason, and
right.
my mom is my mom and my dad is my dad is there's a reason for it, and there's a reason why, I had a hard time making friends and like all of those different things. So you end up where you're meant to be. And also I think with relationships as well, like maybe there's a reason like I haven't had a boyfriend yet, because the boyfriend that I'm going to have, or the husband I'm going to have, is like a one and done, like, I only need one man kind of
Right,
situation.
he's out there. It's just
He's out
taking
there
a little
somewhere,
time for
and I
he's stuck
know
in
that.
some traffic or something.
Right. Like I
Yeah,
know that he exists, but he
right,
just hasn't come into the story yet.
right.
Like
No,
a friend of
yeah,
mine said, your life is like a TV show, and it's your life. You're the main character, and all of these other people are side characters. So we're not at the season where your boyfriend comes in yet.
right,
Love
exactly.
interest's not
Right, the
written.
writers haven't written that yet for you.
Yeah. So,
Exactly. I
but
love
but the
that.
fact
And
that but the fact that like I mean, I guess if you're religious, and we're not really religious, we're kind of, we celebrate our big holidays, but we don't, it's not a major thing. It's like that your person is coming. So
right.
I yeah, and to be honest, like since we're talking about all this, like to be honest, I get a little jealous of like my friends who are getting married and who are in
Of
relationships right
course.
now. And it's like, well, what did I do? Like, did I do anything? And I'm just like, no, honey, because you're gonna get the really good looking, the really kind, the really nice human, because you waited instead of going into all of these other relationships that don't serve you. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
what my best friend says to me all the time. She's like, you are so strong for not getting into a toxic relationship with somebody that's gonna break your heart, and just like waiting and staying abstinent and doing all of that. So so I firmly believe that like everything is supposed to happen for a reason, and some people might say that that's not true, but I fully believe it. Like anyways, I went on a tangent a little bit there, but
No,
that's
I mean you
like,
read my mind because that's normally how I close out my episodes is what's your main takeaway, but I love it and like you said and the purpose of this podcast just like because every guest is always like, well, what
right.
questions are you going to ask me? I'm like, I don't know, that's up to you because
Yeah,
I it's your story. Only you can write it. Only you can tell it, and I'm not here to judge your story or
yeah,
to take it apart or
right,
to change the rhetoric because people do that enough for us as is. And I'm
right.
not here for that. And our viewers and listeners can't see this right now, but well, once they
Yeah,
view
I'm
it, they
gonna be
can. And I
eating
don't know if you
strawberries on.
noticed.
I'm gonna
I
eat
don't.
strawberries on YouTube.
That's
Mm.
okay.
Okay, it's fine, you know.
Right. No, it's fine and it's healthy and it matches the top you're wearing. So there you go.
Mhm.
But I don't know if you noticed, Shendel, but even though CP Awareness Month is in March. I'm wearing green because I wanted to
Yes.
show my
Oh my God,
solidarity.
I just noticed that. That's
And
why.
my
Thank you.
eyeshadow's green too. I wanted to just show my
That's cute.
solidarity and support
Yeah,
that way because I
yeah,
feel it's really important,
mhm,
if we can just all support each other because
yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all want the same thing.
Mm.
And then, especially within our community, we have
Mhm.
good days and we have bad days.
Yeah,
And as long as we can support each other, and I know you said you've had trouble
yeah.
finding friends, but I'm here for you. Like we have so
Oh,
much in
thanks.
common and
Uh,
we don't
we
live,
do, which is really
yeah, we
interesting.
don't live
But
that far apart and
we
we do
don't.
have a lot of common
Yeah,
things even though I
yeah,
might be a little bit older.
yeah.
But
I
like
al- I always get along better with the friends that are older because you learn
that
from them.
that was me growing up as well. I
Yeah,
always gravitated towards people who
who are
were
older.
older,
Yeah,
whether it was kids or adults. It's
yeah,
just I don't know,
yeah,
maybe because they just seem to
yeah.
understand me more. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure why. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I love everything about you. I love your vibe.
Yeah. Um,
For those, and I'm not gonna reveal too much, but Shendel
yeah.
always sends me like a white heart after everything, and
Literally, that's my thing. All
I
my
love
friends,
it. I love it. So I'm like,
white
I have to
heart
start
is my
sending hearts
emoji.
back. Yeah.
White heart is my emoji on all my Instagrams.
I
You'll see
love it.
a heart pop up somewhere. I also use like the sparkly, the yellow thing. It
Love
kind
it.
of
I'm all about the sparkles. Like
that's
I
my
said,
thing.
maybe we should go
Yeah,
into business and like
should
glamify like every mobility
you
aid
should.
because I would love
Yeah.
like my
But
cane
I
and stuff
wanted
to
to
be bedazzled.
finish.
Yeah,
I wanted to finish because I think that the CBD thing is really important. So I know we've gone off on a tangent there with the
that's okay.
E and the universe and the stars and whatever, like my friends told me like 5 years ago. But so basically what happened then is after I had that conversation in 2019, like it was always in the back of my mind, like I'm gonna do this, but I need to finish my stuff first. And then with COVID, that kind of happened. And with COVID, everything shut down. Like the Hollywood wasn't working, nobody was working.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah,
I kind
everything. Yeah.
of, it wasn't a good moment for me then. And now looking back, I realized that like, thankfully, that CSA or whoever it was, I don't even remember, like told me no, because I mean, then COVID hit and, whatever. So, so then in 2023, I was just, simple Google searching and something just told me like Google disabled modeling agencies.
Right.
So
Uh-huh. I
the
did something
keyword,
similar. Yep.
because in PR they teach you like one of the best ways to get audience engagement is keywords. The more keywords, the more
Right.
concentrated. So I just put, the keywords like I do SEO every day, and I saw Kello come up. And Kello is an agency that was started by Katie McMillan, and she's based out of Canada. And I saw
Shout out
ZB,
to Katie.
but to be honest, I was a little intimidated by everything that was happening at ZBD because ZBD is the leading agency for disabilities, and
Right.
they have a lot of followers, and they have a lot
And
of.
they're like worldwide too for
Yes,
people who
they're
don't know
worldwide.
who
So
they are.
it was a little bit intimidating. So I went into it um kind of with let me start small and let's see if I can get to the big one.
Right.
So I filled out the application on Katie's website or the Kella website.
Right.
And I would say within like, I don't know, like a month or two, like I was already like, I mean, it took like a couple of emails to be honest.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so that was me. And then I was like, and then, I was content. I wasn't upset. I was really excited. And then I did my Instagram due diligence and I posted, and all my friends lost their minds. They're like, finally, she's doing it. Yay. And then I was like, hey, and then I was thinking about ZBD for weeks. And then I was like, hey, let me try one more time, because I didn't mention this, but prior to this, I tried auditioning for ZBD, I think 5 times, with those pictures that I had taken from the Phoenix Effect, because that's helped me up until this point. So I figured, hey, why not, right?
Right, right, right.
The way ZBD works is you fill out a form, and then you fill out a form, and then if somebody reaches out to you, then that kind of means that you're not signed, but they want to work with you and they send you.
Right. That, yeah, that they're
And
looking
then
at you.
it says on the website, like, if we don't come back to you in 4 weeks, like, submit again,
Right, right, right.
I don't really remember the wording, but they're probably going to post this on their feed, so I just want to make sure that I'm saying all the right things.
Right, right, right.
So I did that, and then in September of 2023, I did my headshot photo shoot for Kello with my photographer friend Sarah. She's amazing. Everybody go contact her if you need like any photos done for any like events and things. Like, she does bridal showers, she does headshots, she does everything.
Hey.
Amazing. Shout out to Sarah. And we did the photo shoot, like we did like jeans and like a tank top and a yellow leather jacket and this dress that I got like a few years ago when I was in Europe at like the small boutique. And those pictures turn out amazing. They're on my Instagram if you would like to see them.
Okay.
And I say that for everybody, like all of these pictures and everything that I'm talking about, most of it is on my Instagram. So if like my Instagram is just at Shendel, but I'll have Ashley put it. And then I did my pictures, and then somewhere between the end of October and the end of November, I was like, listen, I'm gonna do this one more time. And if it doesn't work, then I'm content with my PR. I'm content with my social media. I'm content with, not, being the influencer and not going on brand trips and, whatever, we're gonna reel it in.
Right.
And I'm still content with the not being the influencer
Right,
and
right,
my
right.
brand trips, because I don't need, like, that was not the goal. Yeah. So I did it one more time. I think I submitted the first week of November, actually November
You
1st.
submitted those pictures with the
Those
leather
pictures
jacket.
with the application again. And a week before Thanksgiving, Victoria, who's one of the head agents at ZBD,
Hey,
uh,
Victoria.
emailed me that she would like me to be signed, and she sent me all my paperwork.
Oh my God.
And that was it.
That's awesome.
And it's been on like a crazy journey ever since. I have like auditions every few weeks, and I love the girls at ZBD. They're all amazing. I love everyone else at ZBD, all of the other, talents that we have, from people with limb differences to people with skin conditions to people with Down syndrome to babies to women to men to
Right.
non-binary,
There's so much diversity.
everybody
I
all
love
over the
them. Yeah.
world. I also ended up being signed to the EU division because I live partially in the EU in the summer. So
And
because
that's that means Europe, right?
yeah, EU
Yeah.
means
Okay, just making sure.
other than
I've been on
England.
my second cup of coffee, so just making sure.
Yeah, other than England's not in EU anymore. So
Right,
anything
right,
like
right.
France all the way to like the Ukraine Russia area. So
Wow. That's
yeah. So
amazing.
so that happened a few weeks ago, and then since then it's just been yeah, I get yeah, there you
Well,
have it.
let me know when you get signed to Australia. I will definitely be a
I don't know about Australia, because I think you have to like live there or be a citizen or
well,
have a
I'll be a
permit.
bag stuffer. Like I'll
Yeah.
just you can stuff me in your suitcase and I'll go
Yeah.
with you because
Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah, I'll
to
go with
travel or to the
yeah, so
EU. I've never been, so if you need a suitcase stuffer, let me know.
right. So I've been doing that. and I've been, looking for PR work and trying to figure that out.
Right.
And it's been really tough and hard, but I fully believe that I'm gonna be where I'm meant to be. So
Right. And
that
just to let you guys know, I wasn't having a bad day today, but I was having like an okay day. But Shendel, you like definitely like lifted my spirits. And I just knew when we were
that's
like
very
talking back and
sweet to
forth, I
say.
knew we were gonna have like such a fun
Yeah.
episode. And I totally forgot. You always do this at the beginning, but please let everybody know, what is your Instagram
Um,
handle? Where can people
my
follow you?
Instagram my Instagram is at Shendel Friedman, which is just the at sign and my name. So it's SHendelFriedman. And then
Okay.
I'm also on TikTok the same way, but I don't use it, so don't.
So
I
don't follow.
post every
Okay.
so often. I post every so often. Like I might stitch a few things, but I don't use my TikTok as often.
Okay.
And I'm basically at Shendel Friedman everywhere.
Okay.
Instagram is my most used social. So please follow me
Okay.
there and like look for all my stuff there. Um,
Right.
yeah. So if you ever need anything or if you just want to look, like Instagram is the platform for me.
Yeah. And then also just for you guys, like again, Shendel and I were talking offline, but like she's just a very good collaborator and has a lot of resources and knows a lot of people. So even if you just want to talk like business or whatever, like Shendel's
Yeah,
really great at that, just letting you know.
I
Like
am.
so
Thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome. Yeah. And
I
again,
didn't know
you're
that. I just
beautiful.
found this out.
Right, you're beautiful. I'm a big dreamer too, and I wouldn't call it delusional. Delusional, I feel, has a negative connotation, and
It
that's
does.
maybe because of the fact that I'm in social work, my
Yeah.
master's in social work.
No, when
But
my
I feel
friends and
that
I say delusion, delulu is Salulu, meaning being
no,
delusion.
and I know you mean it
Yeah.
in like
Yeah.
the
It's like a
fun way,
trend.
but I
Yeah.
I think you're just a big dreamer, and
I am.
being a big dreamer, some of that has really paid off for you.
I
And
am.
so I
And
want you
also
to
I want,
continue to my
yeah.
wish for you is that you
No.
continue to do that because
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong. Yes,
Yeah.
sometimes it can be unrealistic. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna, yes, and my yacht is gonna be coming to me soon. Like,
My
that's a
yacht and
little unrealistic,
my
but
billionaire boyfriend with the
exactly, a little
house and the,
unrealistic,
that,
but
I mean, that's happened to some people, so we're not gonna
of
say that
course.
yeah.
But I don't know if that's in our futures, but
I
that's
mean, yeah,
okay.
neither do I. Like,
Right,
hopefully, but I
exactly.
don't know. But I kind of wanted to end on this note that
Okay, go
that
for it.
I really, really, really I don't want to like give myself all the credit, but I really, really, really I lead with good intention. Now,
You do.
depending on who you ask, some people might say that that's not what I lead with, but I try to lead with good intention. I try to lead
Think a
with
lot of us do.
kindness and with understanding and with generosity and with patience. And shout out to my dad for giving me all of those qualities.
And the
Um,
strawberries.
Shout out, and yeah.
Sorry,
Shout
I
out
had
to
to go
my
there.
Eastern European dad
Yeah.
for telling me like yeah, the
Yeah.
strawberries
To
is a
keep you
huge deal.
satiated. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. Him and food is like a
Yeah.
big so shout out to him for that, and then shout out to my mom for all of, her hard work and for all of her good qualities that I inherited.
Love it.
But I genuinely lead with good intentions, and for those who have not met me or have not, worked with me on both the personal and professional level, I always try to come in with like the nicest vibes. I really, really try like to be the most understanding. I really try to be the most accommodating. I try to be the most flexible. Obviously there's some moments in life where that doesn't work, and you just got to be, the heavy-handed Aries, like with her ram horns, like, but I really, really try to convey that like your disability does not and will never define you. Like, yes, my
Oh,
canes are purple.
100%. I
Yes,
love
my
it.
canes are purple. Yes, my walker is blue. Yes, my car has hand control in it. Like, yes, I'm 24 and I live with my parents, because honestly, you'd be surprised how many people still judge that. Like, don't ask
I
me.
know, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. And I genuinely don't know where my life is gonna go. Like, I don't know, I can I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. tomorrow or the next day, or well, I know what's happening next week, but you know what I mean.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
right,
Yeah.
like you genuinely don't know. Like I could go to the grocery store and my husband might be standing there in the butter aisle. Like who knows?
Plus,
Uh,
our diseases are unpredictable too.
right,
They kind of,
right.
yeah,
So
unfortunately
I
sometimes define it for us.
your
Yeah.
your disability and like anything that you've been through does not define you. And one of the things that I always never understood is like how can someone be so mean to another person, and how can someone say something so ridiculous to another person? Like, because you will never catch me like putting a bad comment on a person's Instagram. Like
Same.
it could be a celebrity with like 5 point something million followers. Like I will put a heart still, or I will like put a comment or something, or it could be like my best friend, like it could be like a classmate of it. Like you will never catch me saying anything bad about anybody. um
Right.
I can't live my life that way. And I'm the type of person, like, because of my anxiety and like all of those mental health stuff, like if I say something bad to someone, I will literally think about it for like the next 3 to 5 years, business
Oh,
days. Like I can't
business days.
like literally I will think about it and I will like ruminate on it a little. So, with that said, like, please be kind.
Yes,
Please
please.
always be kind, and please always choose kindness and be open and honest. And also, listen, we all have our stuff. Everybody has something. So, listen, if you're over here judging people, you need to check yourself because
Exactly.
it ain't cute, sweetie. Like, it ain't cute, you know? So,
I've always said it takes more energy to
to be
hate
mean than to be
and to be
nice.
mean. And
Yeah.
if we all just took the time to listen to one another and get to know each other, we'd
Yeah.
find out we have so much more in common than we do differences. Like maybe some of our foods are different, or we grew up with certain practices, and of course we have different religions. But when you get to
Right.
talking to somebody,
Yeah.
you notice, hey, we have a lot more in common, and it doesn't matter where you're geographically located.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm always saying
Yeah.
too. Again, you and I are
And
kindred spirits
yeah, we
because
are.
I'm
Like,
all
as I
about it.
said, like you're meant to meet people, so I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. This was meant to be, I think, in so many
Yeah.
ways because yeah,
Yeah.
you and I are
Yeah.
all about the same thing
Yeah.
and like have the same platform and are all about the same.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
But
just
I
please be
wanted
kind.
to kind of end on one of the quotes that I live by is, first of all, your disability doesn't define you. And the second
Correct.
one is going to be a little bit of sassy one, but it's like it's what do you want me to do? Sit home and be depressed? You know what I mean?
Right. I love
Like
it.
like I always say that when people ask me like how I approach my disability, it's like, what do you want me to do? Sit home and be depressed? And like
Right. And just be like,
sit
yeah,
there
I'm
and be like,
disabled
oh
and
my
that's it.
God, my legs don't work and I have scars and oh
Right,
my God,
right, right,
no
right.
one loves
Exactly.
me and
Yep.
nobody like okay, first of all, even if that were true, like why am I letting some person who doesn't know what I've been through
Right.
affect how I think about myself? And with that said, like of course I have days where I see, an influencer on Instagram, or, a friend of a friend of a friend, and they look so pretty and they look so beautiful, and everybody has that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my disability does not make me any less than. It never did. It
Nope.
never should have. And the
Nope.
fact that I spent a lot of my academic years in that kind of rut of like, I'm not good enough. This is like the best that it's going to get. And I kind of let that really control my life. And I'm gonna be honest, like it held me back. Like, of course, I did my musical theater and I did my choir and I did all of that stuff. But I feel like I should have been more open and a little bit more friendly. And I think that my neurodivergency and the part of my brain that like is affected because of ICP is, I wouldn't say directly correlated to it, but also like I am neurodivergent and that's fine.
And
you
that's
know
okay.
like,
There's
I
nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
there's nothing wrong with that. Like I do
And it
need
makes you even more unique and
right,
it's okay.
right,
And
and
again,
and
nothing that you did in high school defines you. We didn't know back then, like
yeah,
we could
what we
all
know now,
we could
right?
all look at our high school experiences and be like, why did
Yeah,
I
even
do that? And I
college
should have
ones.
done that. Right,
Yeah, even
exactly.
college ones. And I
Right. Yeah.
and people always ask me like how I'm so optimistic and so like energetic,
Same.
and I've had a few friends say, and I'm not saying this to be like a full narcissist and give myself the credit, but like a lot of my friends have told me like she is the embodiment of the sun. She's literally the sun. And I was like,
Yeah.
so pretty. That's so cute. But a lot of my friends ask me how I'm optimistic, and I always say, honey, I'm not optimistic. Of course, I have my moments of like where I am. I can be the meanest Aries ever. Like of course
Well,
I have.
because we're in
I'm
pain
an
and
Aries.
we don't
Hello.
feel
Like
well.
I
My
can
mom's
destroy
an Aries, yep,
yeah,
and my
I can
grandfather,
destroy you
yep,
with 5 words.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? But like, it's not my fault. My disability is not my fault. It's
right.
actually no one's fault. No, my
And
mom didn't get pregnant knowing that I was going to be like this. I don't think my parents planned for me to be
no,
like
of
this.
course
They
not.
didn't
It
plan for me
just,
to have all of these
right,
hardships. It just happened because whether it's meant to or whether it's not meant to, it happened. And I can't spend the next however many years I have on this earth being, upset about it. Like, of course, I
right,
have my moments where I'm
right,
like, it's too hard. And
right.
actually, I had a moment the other day with it because I told you off camera that we had a personal stuff happen this week.
Right, right, right.
It was my dad's birthday, and the place where we had it was actually like a place that has a lot of stairs and a lot of ramps
Oh,
and things like that. So that was really hard for me, but I still showed up and I still looked
right.
pretty.
And you
I
still
still,
had fun.
celebrated
Exactly.
my dad because my disability does not define me. Like I will
And you
walk up
make it, and
here.
when I first got diagnosed, I'm like, I cried for a week because I thought, oh my God,
Life is
like,
over.
but then I realized you make a
Yeah.
choice and it's all about
Yeah.
your
And
attitude
and
and
listen,
everything.
you make a choice. And it's like, and I always say this to my best friend because we talk about this all the time, is like, listen, I'm open to meeting anybody and I'm all into having new friends and people, but if I feel a bad vibe from you, I'm not going to step within 5 feet of you.
Right. So we
In the
want
sense
only
that
positive
my
people
body,
here.
and this is going to sound so weird, my body has a little vetting system in it that I can feel when something or someone is not kosher.
Right.
Okay. And if you're not kosher for whatever reason and I get a bad vibe, I will walk like 50 feet by. I will
Right,
literally
right, right.
fall away.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that to be mean or be intimidating or be, selfish to people, but uh, people are energy. Okay, people are energy. Everyone is made up of their own energy.
Mm-hmm,
Everybody
mm-hmm.
and I have my own energy, and my energy is positive and optimistic and open. And I obviously everybody has their moments and negativity and whatever, what have you, but everyone is energy. And if you
Right.
don't have good energy, I can feel that like 5 miles away.
Right.
So,
Well, thankfully for us,
yeah,
you have really good energy, and I
yeah,
feel like I have
yeah,
good energy.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
Shendel, I have been so honored to have
Oh,
you on here. I knew this was gonna be
this
a
was
fun
a good one.
episode and
Yeah.
everything like that.
And not
And
only that, but this was my first one.
oh, yep, and it won't be your last because
First one.
if you'll have me, I would love to have you back on this podcast
Yeah.
and bring some of your friends that you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for everything. And I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate it. And again, to all of
Yes.
our viewers and followers, make sure to visit, to follow Shendel. She's amazing. I feel so
Oh,
inspired. And
thanks.
again, I was having an okay day and you really lifted my spirits. And I truly mean that, like from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
And again, remember to follow us at Chronic Convos on Spotify and YouTube, and as well as Apple Music. We are loading our episodes currently, so it's a little bit under construction right now, as well as our TikTok. But it's chronic.convos on Instagram. And again, everyone, thank you so much for listening, and hope you have a good day. And we'll talk to you later, okay? Bye.
Bye.